Good evening, beautiful ladies, wonderful gentlemen. Good evening. Let me just see something real quick. Let me see. Let me see. Okay, so, okay, cool. I can dig it. 1 whole hour and 20 minutes late. Whole hour and 20 minutes late. I apologize. Summertime, you already know. I'm out here working. Apologize. So, whoever watched this live stream, salute to you. I appreciate you. Thanks for your view. I was supposed to went on like 9:05, 9:10. I don't even know. But I had to prepare. I'm about to get on the road. But this live stream is going to be very interesting. I'm going to be looking at this interview that took place in some time ago. And I'm going to give you my whole analysis and breakdown of this timeline of our history, folks. This is history right in our face. It's amazing. Let me ask you something. And this is me being so neutral in this whole situation. Not even neutral at all. It's really straight down one path. I already know what it is. We got to play this game. We got to know how to move these pieces, folks. That's number one. But when you see and you know, I'm going to break down this whole timeline because you got to see the breakdown right in our face. When in history, outside Ronald Reagan, did you see a figurehead, Arnold Schwarzenegger, you know what I'm saying? Jesse the Body Ventura. I'm talking about you really see a figurehead life. Like Arnold Schwarzenegger, we watched him. Ronald Reagan, they watched him in their days. Jesse Body Ventura, we watched him as a wrestler. That's what made people want to be all big and, you know what I'm saying, like this, you know what I'm saying, because of Jesse the Body Ventura, you know what I'm saying? Come on, get your minds right. Wrestling had us in a frenzy. And all those cats was Republicans. This live stream is a real deep one, folks. Because back then, when I was younger, no, Ronald Reagan vote. I ain't vote for Ronald. What's the thing about Ronald Reagan? No. I remember I was in like first grade. No, second. We was in one of those grades, and we actually did our first vote. What grade was it? I don't know if it was. I don't think it was first. It was. I don't know. It might have been first. When Ronald Reagan ran against Jimmy Carter. I told you the story before last year, a few years ago. Every single kid in the class voted for Jimmy Carter because we was brainwashed by our teacher. Except for this one girl. And she voted for Ronald Reagan. And everybody in class was like, "Ooh, why you vote for Ronald Reagan? Ooh, why you vote for Ronald Reagan? Why you vote for Ronald Reagan?" And she said, "Because he's gonna win and I like him." Not, like I said, we was young kids. Ronald Reagan won. And she said, "I told you." I need you to really understand something now. Back in the 90s, no, man, I was really on my black power hard body. All the way to this day. And that's why when I say black power, I'm talking about power now. Because back then I was on my blackness. Yeah, black. But now it's about power. We got to bring those two words together. And that's where we at. So I want you to watch this timeline because I like I say, yo, I've been paying attention a little something to this man way before everything. And I'm not even saying vote for him. I just want you to see the rabbit hole is deeper than the man. It's the rabbit hole, folks. This little fox been in that rabbit hole for a very long time. And if you pay attention to what a person's saying, that's the key. So as you rock and roll with this video, I want you to really understand that I'm Black Power all day. And I'm bringing the words together, Black and Power. So I'm going to go into this video. And as we go into this video, folks, listen, okay? Because we going in deep. We're not going to play games, folks. We can't be caught up in the mix no more, okay? So that's where we at. We're not going to be caught up in this mix. I have to be right here because I want to make sure that the microphone, you know what I'm saying, it's about the microphone. So I want to make sure the microphone picks it up. You feel me? Because I don't know if I'm all the way back here, if it's low. I got the fan blowing. So, you know what I'm saying? Got a couple things going on right now. So I want to make sure that you can hear me. So we're going to pull up this video. And I'm going to let at least 5 minutes go in this video. I hope it's queued up right. Even if it's not, whatever. But I hope that you listen. Because it's about the rabbit hole. It's about how deep this rabbit hole gets. Because, see, people want to talk about simple shit. But they're not seeing the real depth of the waters. The waters go deep. We need not to be on the simplicity. Get off that simple mindedness. We gotta go deep when we talk about this 2020 because they talk about COVID. Get out of here with that COVID. But it's the election time. See, you can fool a fool. You could trick a trick. But you can't pimp a pimp. Nah, folks, you're not going to get me with that bullshit. We're going to be out there on the stroll. We're going to be out there on the track. We're going to make our bread. There's no way in life that they're going to tell me that, oh, it's the politics. And that's what I'm trying to tell you. They get you cats on fear. They get you, they've got you brainwashed. And that's what I'm trying to tell you. Me, I'm about the power now. We got to take our blackness and get this power. Get off that dumbness. Get off that incomplete minded, dumb fool shit. Meaning that you got a black man rise, original rebel. You must rise up now. Because, folks, the handouts is embarrassing. I want every single person out there that get handouts to feel embarrassed. That's going to make you rise up. That's going to make you rise up. I remember the very first time I saw embarrassment of my mom's when she handed me that paper, that funny paper money, which is now on the card. See, they know it's more. See, if they go back to the funny money, if they go back to that clown money shit and take away that card and give you the paper money with the booklet, you ain't gonna want to pull that out. Y'all so comfortable pulling out this card shit though. We must get off of this mindset of we must be given something. It's time to rise up. If we have unity on all levels, folks, meaning that we have unity in the minds first, we all unite in our minds, we get organized in our heads and get off that simplicity, that simple-minded shit, then we can understand this rabbit hole is deep. So what I'm about to play for you, folks, is a video. And I'm actually going to have some fun. So I got some time, so I'm going to rock out the video. The video is going to be, I don't care how long we're going to rock out the video, I'm going to break it, but we're going to rock this video out. I don't know how long this live stream is going to be, but the rabbit hole is deep. And when you listen to a person, not now, but you heard what they said before and they not changing, you got to say something is wrong. Okay. So I'm going to set this up, folks. Something is wrong. And that's what's really wrong is the fact that we keep being, well, I apologize. I can't jump in it. You keep being fooled with the handouts. You keep being fooled like, oh, they're going to give some, what they call that shit? I don't even know what they call it because I don't even accept it. But stimulus, or they're going to give this, or the Democrat, they're going to give this. While everybody's saying, no, we can't do that. We just going to bankrupt. But, oh, no, they're giving us. Oh, see, fuck them. Damn. Oh. I sell this ice stuff, and I hate when everybody come up to me like, yo, is it free? Is it free? Is it free? Is it free? Ice cream man come, don't look nothing like y'all. Y'all going up there giving them $3, and you come up to me like, is it free? Is it free? Is it free? Can you imagine hearing that shit every day that you go out? 3 to 5 times every day. Is it free? Is it free? Is it free? Maybe 5 to 10 times. And it's your own people. Your own people will bankrupt you. That's why I'm saying it's time to open up your ears and your eyes. We will bankrupt ourselves. So imagine what we're doing to the government in the country because we don't want to rise up. And then you get mad when someone tells you to rise up. F your voting shit. I don't care nothing about your votes. I don't care who you go vote for. I just want you to pay attention to the rabbit hole. F politicians. I don't care nothing about this government. Unless we turn up just like those white people did on January 6th, shut up if you're running to vote. But if you're going to go vote, this is my message to you. Don't go in there voting because you want handouts. That's rule number 1. If you're going to vote and cast your vote upon a person who's going to give you the most, as opposed to hope you rise the fuck up, shoot yourself when you cast your vote. Go hang yourself right after it. That's rule number 1. Remember, it's a 2-party. Go hang yourself after you do it, because you already killed your family. You already killed your next generation because you chose handouts over how we're going to rise up. Meaning that you got to start with point 1, which is unity. I told you. Once we are unified, your vote will count much more because we have our own system that this government will oblige by. But as long as you have nothing but an open hand and a palm up, they're going to probably slap a piece of cock up in there and say, what you going to do with that? And most of y'all chicks are going to put it in your mouth and say, yo, F my baby daddy, give me that check. You're going to run to get some pills on medication. SSI, yo, come on, folks. We know the game, but we don't want to talk about it. We want to keep it 100. Like I told you, I got the pills from this one girl sitting right here. Snatched it from her. Like, what are you doing? You serious? That's the game you playing for housing? You taking pills? Remember, I took the pills from my mom's too. Took them from my mom's too. That's what I'm going to court and all this stupid shit for. Y'all be on these pills. Get off their drugs. They're the biggest drug dealers in the world. get off their drugs. That's the key for this government, to keep the people on the drugs. So as long as you high and sedated, you're lazy and you don't really care what's going on, and it is what it is. That's the tricks, folks. That's the tricks. So let me stop talking. I did 15 minutes, which is cool. Let me go into the presentation. But like I say, yo, tricks are for kids. Tricks are for kids. You can't play these tricks no more. I'm so tired of this shit. Y'all are so caught up with this nonsense. Okay, let me set this up. Because I just watched it early this morning. I don't know if I watched the whole thing. But this cat named Charlie Rose, who knows who he is, who cares, I don't care. Tenaciously, whatever that is. Hopefully, I hope this is the video. Let's see.
In the hour with a man who's already left his own unique mark on the face and history of New York City. If Donald Trump is not in the news for a high-stakes deal or a controversial new development, he may be in the gossip columns with his latest relationship. But less than 2 years ago, the news was that the Trump empire was in trouble, and some were quick to announce that the king had lost his crown.
Now, I got to stop that just for 1 second, because they think that everybody's so fucking stupid. They believe that everyone is a nigga, ignorant person, and that people don't know how to go down and pay attention. The same thing they just said right there is the same news that you have right now on this man about his relationships, trying to say he ain't got the money. The same shit they said back in 1992. 31 years later, they saying the same thing. Because they know that's the same shit that the people could go for and will go for and will go for. So when a nigga be like, yo, fake news, y'all be like, well, what are you talking about? This the fake news. But I want y'all to pay attention with your own ears. Because 30 years of the same bullshit, 40 years of the same bullshit, come on, folks. Oh, but now we're going to throw him in jail. Let's pay attention to this right here, okay? I'm going to let it rock out, okay? I'm going to let it rock out.
Donald Trump, some say, is out to prove them wrong and is currently writing his third book, which is The Art of the Comeback. And that's what we want to start with. Donald Trump is here, and I'm pleased to have him. Welcome.
Hi, Charlie.
Nice to have you here.
It's been a long time.
It has. We're in New Orleans, back during the Republican convention, in a little room talking about the challenge of the Japanese at that time.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
Exactly right.
Now here is Trump, The Art of the Deal, and this is Trump surviving at the top. And here is the Casino Journal saying gaming's greatest comeback. Here is, guess what? Casino player, the comeback kid, Donald Trump's amazing turnaround. And here is New York Magazine out this week, fighting back. Trump scrambles off the canvas. Bill Clinton, after the New Hampshire primary, went out front and had a press conference, and he said, even though he came in second, said, I'm the comeback kid.
That's right.
And look what happened to Bill Clinton.
Right.
Now, if you could translate that for you, where would it be? Where would it take you to? What would be the equivalent of reaching the White House for you?
Well, I think just doing what I'm doing, Charlie. You know, I've had a really great streak over the last year. A lot of people went down. The economy is in a horrible condition, just a deplorable condition. The politicians destroyed the economy in 1986 when they passed a tax law that just destroyed the real estate.
Did he just say deplorable condition? And did Hillary Clinton call them the deplorables? Wow. I didn't peep that. Okay. This is 1992. Deplorable condition. So he's talking about the fact that, you know, the president right now at the time is Bill Clinton. And he said deplorable condition.
Industry, which in turn destroyed the banks and the savings banks and savings and loans. And I really got very lucky in a way. I built the Taj Mahal, which everyone said that's going to be his downfall. The Taj Mahal, it's over $1 billion building. And it's turned out to be one of the best deals I've ever made. It broke records for the last 3 months. It won over $40 million a month. No casino in history has won anywhere near that. All three of my casinos were rated 4 stars by the Mobile Travel Guide, and they're the only casinos in the United States that are so rated. So, it's really been an incredible period of 6 or 7 months for me, and it's
Now, quiet as kept, folks. The hate inside of humans will sit there and listen with hatred of the success of that cat. Although the love for success is what everyone lusts for, and they yearn for that. You go into real estate, and these people, they walk around, they agents all day long trying to do deals. No telling how many people read Trump books in 30 years. Real estate agents. They want to get to a certain level, they make it. Now, me personally, as a New Yorker, growing up, I actually wish, and this is real talk, listening now and paying attention to it now, because we don't pay attention to our future. We don't think about the future. But now, that was 1992. I graduated in 1992. Okay, I was in high school in 1992. I graduated in high school. This year I graduated. So I was paying attention to all this new stuff anyway. I had to, because I was in high school. We had to pay attention to a lot of stuff, especially election and all this stuff at the time. So I say all that because, as a New Yorker, having New York embrace this cat way differently, you understand what I'm saying? As a New Yorker, having New York and New Jersey embraced him, I would say, I guess, on the level of Florida, there's no telling how New York would be rocking right now, and how New York would have been rocking during his presidency. And New Jersey. But the hate that humans have within of other people's success, the jealousy that humans have within of other people's success, it don't matter what color. I'm the little old icy man. I push a car. The jealousy and hatred that the people have of your success, it don't matter whether you're a billionaire, a millionaire, 100,000-aire, a thousandaire, or just a broke old dude like myself getting a little couple of dollars. It don't matter. The hatred that the humans have within of the other person's success is the downfall of mankind. We need to start applauding one another way differently. And I'm saying that on a different, higher being level right now. Because just listening to him, because I'm looking at this and I'm like, damn, we in the future right now, and this is the past, and listening, I say, damn, maybe haven't we embraced each other as people differently in the last 50 years? Maybe we could have a different type of lifestyle right now, period. But if we want, that's why I keep saying, folks, if we want to keep the hatred going, we might as well just have the war. Because we are actually making ourselves broke. We're making the country broke. We are making the world broke. And only a few getting up. Because we are not spreading the unity, spreading the love, folks. And showing the love. Embracing each other with love. We always have such a competitive edge. But yet and still that competitive edge is the devil. If it ain't sports and sports on a loving level, it's the devil. Let the nigga go on.
It's really been gratifying. Now they all want to do the comeback stories and everything else. And I think I probably care less about that than I would have maybe 3 or 4 years ago. But it's been a pretty good experience for me.
Then how are you different than you were 3 or 4 years ago?
Well, I used to say, and in fact, I think I said in my first book that, and maybe this was foolish, but I really meant it, that someday I'd like to maybe lose everything for a period of time to see who's loyal and who's not loyal. And I found out a lot of things.
Did you find out who's loyal and
No,
not
I
loyal?
tell you what, and you can't guess it. You can't predict it. You think certain people would be loyal no matter what, and it turns out that they're not. And you just can't predict it. It's very difficult.
What hurt the most?
Well, it's a whole different scene, Charlie. I mean, we have we have a situation where you have everything going perfectly, and then one day you wake up and the world is coming to an end from the standpoint of the economy. But I just think that I've had a lot of luck. I've had a lot of friends. I've had a lot of good friends, and overall I've done really well with it, and I'm very happy about it.
All right, now help me go back and understand what it was to be you.
Yo, he didn't even feed into the little shit that the question that he asked. He actually came back and showed love. Yo, this dude Trump is weird because, like I say, if you pay attention, I can go back so you can hear the question, see how because this dude Charlie, he throughout this whole interview, he's he's keeping it 100. He keeps it real in this interview. This is a great interview. He keeps it 100, and the way a person answers off a dime, not stutter stutter. I'm talking about off the dime off the fly. To me, is more sincere than anything because there's no thinking about it unless it's 100% preparation. But I don't think so. Let me just go back a little bit because he talked about the book, The Comeback. He talked about loyalty. Now, the reason why I say I want to go back because he talks deeply about the loyalty. He said sometimes he think about losing stuff for a few years just to see who's really loyal. Now that's deep because you know what I'm saying being rich is kind of lonely because you don't know who's fake and who's real. And then he said, I'm gonna go to January 6th, and I'm gonna go to Mike Pence. You know what I'm saying? He really have it out for Mike Pence and everybody who wasn't loyal. He spoke it then in 1992. He's strong on loyalty. I think Rihanna and Kendrick Lamar came up with a song called Loyalty. This man said in 1992, loyalty is like one of the biggest things that he campaigns for. He campaigns for loyalty. Like I said, I want y'all to pay attention to this cat right here. But I don't give a fuck if you don't vote for him. You know what I'm saying? I mean, if you go to jail, that's gonna spark the war. So I don't care. But I do want you to pay attention to the rabbit hole because obviously they care. They really do care.
It's really been gratifying. Now they all want to do the comeback stories and everything.
Oh, remind you, every time they talk about this is the time when he filed for bankruptcy too. This was the time when they were saying he was losing everything. I remember he was in the news like crazy all day long in New York, all day long. Oh, he bankrupt. He bankrupt. He lose. He filed for bankruptcy. He filed for bankruptcy. That's why this comeback story was real strong. Even if they paid for this whole thing, don't matter. The whole comeback story, this whole movement that he did to get back to where he was at, stemmed from right here, folks. It's 1992 when Bill Clinton was in office.
Everything else, and I think I probably care less about that than I would have maybe 3 or 4 years ago. But it's been a pretty good experience for me.
Then how are you different than you were 3 or 4 years ago?
Well, I used to say, and in fact, I think I said in my first book that, and maybe this was foolish, but I really meant it, that someday I'd like to maybe lose everything for a period of time to see who's loyal and who's not loyal. And I found out a lot of
Did
things
you
about
find out who's
loyalty.
loyal and
No,
not
I tell you
loyal?
what, and you can't guess it. You can't predict it. You think certain people would be loyal no matter what, and it turns out that they're not. And you just can't predict it. It's very difficult.
What hurt the most?
Well, it's a whole different scene, Charlie. I mean, we have a situation where you have everything going perfectly, and then one day you wake up and the world is coming to an end from the standpoint of the economy. But I just think that I've had a lot of luck. I've had a lot of friends. I've had a lot of good friends, and overall I've done really well with it, and I'm very happy about it.
All right, now help me go back and understand what it was to be you and what happened. So the economy did, you were hit and other real estate developers, and some people have not been able to come back. Some developers in Canada and in the United States who had a magnificent reputation for quality and for the deal have not are still in bankruptcy. In fact, how high did it get for you? I mean, what was it like for you before the crash, and then how low did it get for you when things began to go bad and people were counting you out and saying that that not only could you not recover, but that you were that far from bankruptcy.
Yeah. Well, I never thought I was that far from bankruptcy, but a lot of people were giving me a hard time, and I think overall, Charlie, it was an experience that I don't think I want to go through it again. I have to tell you this. I mean, you know what it's like. It's you're really in a position where I think that if you had to do it again, I'm not sure you could. I went through a period of 2 years that was truly tough.
Tough
But
in what way?
well, you have parents and you have people that adore you, and you have people that for 15 years nothing went wrong, and then all of a sudden the world seems to be coming to an end. I mean, it just seems to become, and it's just it was just sort of an incredible experience for me.
Did you have to go to your father and say, bail me out, help me
Well,
get through this crisis one more time?
my father wouldn't have been in a position to bail me out, but he certainly helped, and morally and in any way he could. My mother was great. I have a sister who's a federal judge, and she's very, very strong. She's a fantastic woman. I never knew as to loyalty whether or not she'd be there or wouldn't be there, and she was there in spades. Other people were there, but the incredible thing is you can't really tell. You can't really tell who's going to be there, who's not. I would have bet my life on certain people. I would have said, politically speaking, that somebody that Andrew Stein, would have been there, and he wasn't. I would have said that
Wasn't
other
there
people.
for what?
He wasn't there in terms of. For 15 years, I supported Andrew Stein. Supported him. I never asked him for a thing. When I needed a vote on Riverside South, until the very end, when everybody else was on board, Andrew was not there, and I was really surprised at that. Now, ultimately, he was there, but it shouldn't have been so difficult. It really shouldn't have been
Okay,
so
but
difficult.
here comes one of the things they say about you is that there ticks within you a vindictiveness about that, and you're not going to forget that. And part of the Trump style is to, at some point, you're going to try to get Stein back.
Well, I don't think I'm going to try and get Stein back. I'm just disappointed. I'm disappointed in other people, and I'm not disappointed in some. I mean, there have been people that were much more. A man like Alan Greenberg of Bear Stearns,
Right.
who would call me every day during the
And
trauma.
what would he say?
Well, he'd just call me and it'd boost me. He'd say, just keep fighting, just keep fighting. He's really a phenomenal guy and a great leader. And that's why Bear Stearns, I mean, without any big parent company, I mean, Bear Stearns has just done tremendously well.
All right, just real quick, folks. Andrew Stein. Who's Andrew Stein? Andrew Stein was a representative, a state representative, and also the borough president of Manhattan. So he had a lot of control during that time. And so he was also a Democrat. Who else was Democrat? See what he's saying at this time. You got to pay attention to what he's saying without him saying it, because this, like I said, the rabbit hole's deep. At this time, he was a Democrat. At this time, okay, he was a Democrat, but he's speaking in code. So when he saw about people who wasn't there, a lot of political figures who were Democrats. This is what made him switch parties. Okay, this is what made the man switch parties. The lack of loyalty that the Democratic Party have, because they be flip-flopping all over the place for their power. They go whatever way. So if you want to go lesbian, they go that way. If you want to go this, they go that way. If you want to go Chinaman, they go that way. Whatever way the Democrats sway, they sway wherever the money is. So if everybody swaying this way, they swaying against you, they shut you out. So they were shutting this man out because he was too much in the mix, but not with the mix like that. This rabbit hole is spooky because people want to have so much hate. I want us to take away hate right now, take away race right now, and pay attention to what I'm breaking down some real political science right now of why we are at where we at right now in history. This man was behind the scenes in the mix for a very long time, folks. We all know that. Don't think that politicians move by themselves. Politicians move by the economic force. He was an economic wave. He was a phenomenon. He's what you call this nigga right here. Excuse my mouth. This man right here is what you call a phenomenon. Like Jay-Z, a phenomenon. Pity. But what they do, I don't know what they do to get their power. So these political figures like Andrew Stein was not given the green light and the votes that he needed for certain things. And this is all during the time because, you know, all the newspapers getting mad at him because everything was going on. So, like I said, when he was going all the way to like 1998, 2000, all that Central Park stuff, all the Al Sharpton stuff, all the march and protest, and all the race card stopped this man from a whole lot of growth in New York. The race card that the black people played against him because the hate that people have amongst other humans for success and jealousy stopped a lot of progression. Let the cat continue. Let him continue. I'm gonna mute up.
But Alan has been a really loyal friend, and I've had a lot of other loyal friends. But the thing, and I guess I'm going to go into this in the third book. I do one book, it's a bestseller. I do another book, it's a #1 bestseller. Both books were #1, and I think, frankly, I think this is the best book. I think this will be the best book because I really believe I know much more now than I did for the other two.
What do you know?
I've learned about hardship, something which really I didn't know. I went to the best school. I did great. You go to the Wharton School of Finance. You go through it easily. You do fantastically well. Everything goes smooth. You get out of school. You make a lot of money. Every deal works out. It was sort of like just a series of you couldn't make a mistake.
Did you think you were invincible at that time?
I never thought I was invincible because I've seen too much, and you have to learn from history about others. So I never thought I was invincible, but I had a 15-year run that was, virtually unprecedented. I had a tremendous run, and all of a sudden, 1990 hit. And I remember there was an article, "Welcome to the 90s, Donald." But 1990 hit, and the economy was crashing, and the banks were crashing, and everything was crashing. And what happened is I learned a lot about myself. And I learned a lot about other people.
Okay, but you keep saying I learned. What did you learn about yourself? What?
Well, I think I learned for real that I'm a pretty tough guy because it takes a tough guy. Hey, it takes the brains and it takes the this and it takes it, but it also takes a toughness because to go through a period of turmoil where everything seems to be going in the wrong direction and survive it and end up, as they say in my new magazine covers, are coming back.
Well, but what they say here, what Greenberg said, is that Trump went from owning 100% of nothing to 50% of something that's making money.
Yeah.
Fair?
Well, I think that's what he said, and he actually said making a lot of money.
What's happened? That's right.
What's happened?
He did say that.
What's happened is that the casinos have turned out to be tremendous for
Yeah.
me. And again, a lot of people were criticizing the move into the casinos and all, but they've really turned out to be tremendous. Real estate in New York is starting to come back on a very slow basis. I don't know how long it's going to take. I think it's going to take a long time. But the casinos in particular have been fantastic. But, it's just worked out for me. It hasn't worked out for a lot of other people.
Yeah.
I think a lot of that has to do with an inner strength, and that's what I'm going to be writing about. A lot of it also, though, has to do with other people, the loyalties of other people, how you treated other people so that maybe they are loyal.
Did it split the family?
No.
Did it cause division between you and your brother?
It didn't cause division. I was a little disappointed in my brother. I thought he would have fought harder than he did. I was the opposite of my sister. I have a sister who is really a phenomenal lady, and she really.
This is the judge.
The judge, and she really was just tremendous. My other sister likewise was tremendous. My parents have always been, and I would expect them to be. It's interesting. One of my attorneys said, "Always count on your mother." Now, I maybe took advantage of my mother. I never appreciated her as much, but she was really fantastic.
Well, it's also said you came out in defense of Mike Tyson, and you came up with these community, and there was a.
So he spoke on family, but I to go back because I made a statement earlier, but I apologize. Bill Clinton was running at this time. He became president. You know, they voted him in 1992. He became president in 93. My bad. But at this time, Bush was still president. Okay. So Bush was president at the time. This is Bush Sr. Bill Clinton was running. They was running against each other. And when they were talking about look at Bill now, Bill was, ahead. I believe they probably won the election. When is election day? November 3rd, 4th, or some shit like that. When is election? I believe this, he had just won. So he just became president. But through the election. But right now, he just talking about family. He talking about his sister, the judge. He talking about his other sister. He says, brother, was like, the pretty much the knucklehead wasn't rocking and rolling right. But the sisters and moms held him down. Pops held him down. Family values. So he spoke about family. He thinks he looks at his own health and his own family, and that's how most people should be able to judge life. Now, if your family is discombobulated and that's how you judge life, you gotta end that ancestral cancer. You know what I'm saying? That ancestral cancer, that curse, that cancer is a disease that you got in. It's called, some type of hate. Because you need family to really, really, really be strong. I grew up with my family. I grew up with my father all the way to the end. Right now, I'm in the world on my own because I choose to, not because I don't have fun, but I choose to because when I get with family, I want to be as strong as I need to be in my head. Period. That's the way I roll. Family's there, but I respect the person who's truly in the mix of the family. So when I'm speaking on me giving praise to those who's in their life and have real family and really rock and roll family. But yet and still, family must be strong because that's what makes the community strong. Okay, we gotta have a stronger family. So family values is very important. Because family values is what gets you through things. When I was going through my situation, I was going through it by myself. What became family was this internet. What became a therapy was this internet. Am I happy about that? Hell's no. But yes, I am at another level because I was supposed to be on the internet 10 years ago. So God put me down to a position where I had to get on this internet. You understand? Like Trump said, he had to sometimes think about losing everything, so he was really loyal. So to bring me to a rock bottom state and to be uplifted through people who I don't know, to be picked up. See, the project Pick Me Up, to be picked up by people who I don't know. Is a major salute to all you folks, to all you ladies, for your love and your support. Because you gave the strength and energy for me to keep going. To be that comeback success story. Because that's the path that we are on. And we're not having our hands out like this. We having our hands out like this. Join me. Pick me up. Let's go. Pull me, pull you. Understand? That's where we at right now. That's where we always been. What? Even at low state, we always been there. Nothing changes. The path is always the path. It's on the way to success. So whether you're at your low point, and if you can't talk successfully, then you already a loser. So what happened with most of these internet cats who actually still should have been part of the team of love, the spread love campaign. You saw me and was like, oh, you at a low. You supposed to be humble and weak because that's what we like. Because it makes me feel like I'm above now because you humble and weak, black man. No, I'm a fucking king. Whether I'm down and out. Because I with or without you, I will be picked up because I believe in the Almighty Creator, no matter what. Period. So because I have that belief, that inner strength is a different type of energy. Period. So the success goes still without the engine being pumped by people on the sideline adding fuel to the engine. The engine still goes. And now because it passed the rock bottom state, even though rock bottom is always around the corner. Always remember that, people in life. Rock bottom is always around your corner. But right now, I'm not in that time zone. I'm in a different time zone. So that's not in on my calendar. So it's all about success, folks. And so if we're not talking in a successful manner, we're not uplifting our people, period. And when I say our people, we talk about human beings. We're not doing our job right. So let's get back to this interview because that was about family. And so now he's about to go into Mike Tyson. Because, see, we want to talk about race. This interview is a good one. New York should embrace this cat way differently. Trust you, why? We didn't play our cards right. Nope. We didn't. That's why I say right now, play the game, folks. This cat's been in the mix. This cat's not stupid. And he's not a racist no more than I am. And you, and all of yous. So now we got that. It's like I ain't got time to hear on that right now because the race car has been played for a long time. Now let's get focused in this rabbit hole of how the media wants you to believe this false, fake narrative that they want to build because they don't want that connection. See, like I say, if we play the cards right like a casino, if we played our cards right, we back in 2020, motherfucker could way much more when the cat became president. If everybody played the cards right, it had nothing to do about kissing ass. It's just about play the cards right, roll the dice right. But because we didn't, I'm saying now is the time, because now is the time for unity and love, and you cannot allow this demon to work. And who's the demon? The demon right now, because we're going to go into this next segment, the demon right now is the one putting these false narratives out there to the people to pump the fear. That's not spreading the love, they're spreading fear. Okay? They're not spreading the love, they're spreading the fear, because with the fear, they can have the control. They back when it's COVID shit. The demon is the one who wants to put that narrative in your mind to get back on that COVID shit. I'm not looking for something. That sucks. Okay, that's the demon. The demon right now wants to shut down your economy. Okay? So pay attention and know what the demon is right now. And it's time for us to stand up and fight. Period. We got to fight. And you cannot fight asking the demon for handouts. The only way the demon gets its power and fuel is for you needing it. You got to reject and rebuke the demon. Don't allow the demon to confuse you. COVID? Some girl hit me up and say, yo, do you know that COVID's back up? And I'm like, huh? I know she probably messed up with her numbers and her figures because, she gets excited. She be bugging out saying some crazy shit. But she says 100 million people has been affected. They would have shut the shit down, girl. So, but that's what fear pumping do. It make you start getting paranoid. You start saying astronomical shit, spreading crazy fake news. So I'm like, nah, get your numbers right. It's not 100 million people. What you talk about? Then my phone just shut off. So the battery is dead. But this is what I'm trying to tell you. As they spread the fear, get all you women so scared, and you women control the children. So now the number of fearful people moving is more than people of that's ready to fight back. And then the fearful people stall out the fight. No, we need to fight right now. This can't happen. Can't happen. Hoodies up, mask up, guns out. Let's go. Cowboys on horses. Let's start blazing. I got me a horse. Do you got a horse? Hee-haw! Better get on your horses, folks, because the rodeo show is about to be televised. Y'all think that this election is going to go down real smoothly? You see it in your own eyes. It's not going down smoothly. The person who's running for office is trying to lock him up. January 6th took place. Yo, folks. See when the demon is operating, man. Take Trump out the picture. You got John F. Kennedy, Robert Kennedy's son running for office. Or is he? I believe he's independent too. I see something down the road, something real big. Trust me. Homegirl said something to me. Homegirl said she would love to see that dude, Kennedy and Trump, together in the same party. Okay. Listen, folks. This is real time. This ain't no movie shit. This ain't no acting. It's 2020 motherfucking 3. How do you do apocalypse? How do you do shutdowns? How do you do shit? First thing first. Now that we living in it, I see it happens through the people ignorance and lack of fight. And I'm looking for handouts all the fucking time. That's what makes the Hunger Games happen. This is a wake-up call, and I'm screaming as loud as I can. And I'm actually using Donald Trump to wake you up. Because I don't care about anything. I mean, like, if he get locked up, the Civil War will happen. And that's what I'm like, yo, told you, let's go. But I'm the sad thing about it, I'm not going to know who's the enemies. And that's what they're banking on, folks. They banking on the Civil War to happen. And they bank because, see, just like the Rockefellers did back with the Civil, not the Civil War, but all wars, they fund both sides. With this Civil War, if a Democratic president be in office, the Democratic Party would profit off of the Civil War, and they would get their mission complete. The death toll, the murder rate. But then they would blame it on the cat. They would blame it on him. But that's why I'm trying to put this video together so you guys can pay attention to this rabbit hole and see what pillars stand before these demons to cause obstacles, leading them to the what's the word looking for? The Calvary. The Calvary is we the people. We have to know what side we on. Are we on side of family? Are we on side of love? Are we on side of loyalty? I'm just using words. Take away the person who said some words, because we say these words all the time. Rihanna said loyalty. Like I said, Kendrick Lamar said loyalty. He made a song. So like I say, that's what we need to live on. Love, unity, loyalty. If that demon is against that, the Calvary must fight back. Where the Calvary at? They looking for a handout? You looking for your handouts? Huh, folks? They're gonna have a march in DC. They're gonna have a march in DC. Focus on how Biden's gonna give more handouts to the community, and we gotta vote and do everything we gotta do to make sure that Trump goes to jail. That's gonna be the march tomorrow in DC. That's gonna be the rally and the movement. So then when the white man say the reversal hate that's being pushed, people don't understand. But it's how they use how these Democrats use these race card pushers and how they manipulate everything, because it comes back to these demons, and they using everyone as pawns to keep the cavalry from fighting. See, Sean Bell, the cavalry was ready to fight. Trayvon Martin, the cavalry is ready to fight. And the list goes on. The cavalry was ready to fight, but they cooled it down with the certain individuals. And it's so sad, because if the certain individuals just jumped on the right side, turned it up the right level, everything could have been where it's supposed to be. But nope. Checks go, bank accounts get a few zeros and commas, and that's it. And the cavalry sits back like, yo, what the fuck just happened? Oh, well, where's my handout? Yeah, word, where's my handout? I need my handout. I got 3 kids. So I say all that for us to realize that the cavalry is needed. So we need to build up our family, build up our community, and now we're going to go into race. So let me get to the video. We're going to talk about race now. Well, we talk about Mike Tyson, which is all part of race.
It is said that your mother said, enough, Donald.
I
Shut
think
up.
that's probably the first time I'm really, attorney said, always count on your mother. Now, I maybe took advantage of my mother. I never appreciated her as much, but she was really fantastic.
Well, it is also said you came out in defense of Mike Tyson, and you came up with these community, and it is said that your mother said, enough, Donald. Shut up.
I think that's probably the first time my mother absolutely got angry at me. I really mean that. I mean, my mother was so crazy when I came out in defense of Mike Tyson. And part of the reason I came out of
Your
the
mother's
fence,
what, 80 something?
my mother's 80 years old,
Right.
and part of the reason that
And tough enough to survive
oh,
a
she's
mugging.
tough. She's
You see how he keep cutting him off because he don't want him to explain the reason why he's defending Tyson. But you know, Trump's gonna get his point across. But watch this dude.
tough, but she's quality. I mean, more than tough, she's quality.
So she said what?
Well, she wasn't. She didn't exactly like the fact that I was defending Iron Mike, but I watched what happened to Mike Tyson. I watched how badly he was represented by an attorney in Washington that was charging him $3 or $4 or $5 million against a local attorney, the best within 100 miles that the state hired, who just ate the other man's lunch. And I watched the way he did it, and I heard about a girl that late in the evening knocked on his door, was taken in, was raped. Perhaps, perhaps not. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Again, I think he was very badly represented. But I did see that number one, she knocks late in the night. Number two, she's dancing in a beauty contest at 8 in the morning. And I saw the tapes and I see the big smile on her face. And she's dancing happily at 8 in the morning. And now Mike Tyson's in jail for 4 or 5 or 6 years. I had a real problem with that case. I had a real problem with Mike Tyson's lawyers. I had a real problem with Don King. I just think that he was really fed out to the wolves.
But if in fact he raped her in that hotel room, regardless of whether she came there, you think that he should have been convicted and should have gone for the slammer?
He to this day denies it. I don't know that it happened, and I think that, as they said, if he didn't testify, he would have been exonerated totally. The jury said that. Mike was arrogant. He was a horrible witness, from what I understand, and I'm not surprised. I mean, I would say that generally speaking, you don't put Mike on as a witness, but he was a horrible witness. And to get 4 or 5 or 6 years, I think that there was just too many circumstances. Again, she was in a beauty contest and she was dancing with.
Yo, what Trump just said just now about that, he said Mike would have been exonerated if Mike didn't testify. Mike dumbass went up there and was some old cocky Brooklyn nigga on some old dumb shit. Fucking trust me, when I was in court, I almost fucked up my case. So I can imagine Mike. And so the judge pretty much punished Mike for that. Whoever the judge was, punished Mike more so for his behavior in court than the charge itself.
With a big smile on her face at 8 o'clock in the morning. 8 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, but the jury sat there and they listened to her too. They had an opportunity to hear her and test her credibility as they heard it, and also to face questions. This guy's not a bad lawyer. He may have handled his case bad, but he is the same man that represented John Hinckley and others and had an extraordinary reputation in a very good Washington firm.
I watched Mike, and I've been with Mike, and I've seen him, and people really take advantage of this man. And I want to tell you something. I think this is one of those examples. Now, I know we have a system of juries, and I know we have a system where if you're found guilty, you're guilty. But somebody like me, maybe who has a little bit more independent streak, can say, hey, Mike Tyson, in my opinion, should really be given another break. I mean, they put him in jail before he was even guilty, as far as I was concerned.
Do you believe he'll fight again, and do you believe he'll ever be the heavyweight champ again?
I think he'll fight again. I don't know that he'll be the heavyweight champ again. In the prison that he's in, they don't allow boxing. That's a long layoff. Some of the young fighters that are coming up in the heavyweight division are great.
But Ali came back from the years that he was
Ali
off.
came back. Ali was totally unique. He was a unique man, and maybe Mike will come back. I think Mike probably will be the champion again. But you have some young fighters coming up, heavyweight fighters like Lennox Lewis, who is absolutely phenomenal.
You think Holyfield's going to lose?
I think Holyfield. I'm not sure if he's going to lose now, but I think your next champion is going to be Lennox Lewis.
Boy, he sure did a number on this.
No, he was incredible.
In London
I want
the
to
other
tell
day.
you, I mean, he knocked out
First round, wasn't it? Or
second round. And this gentleman went 18 or 20 rounds with Mike.
Well, that was his claim to fame, that he survived being in the ring with Tyson.
Lennox Lewis is probably the real thing. I mean, he could be the first real thing since Mike, and it'll be interesting. And he's younger, and he's this and that. Or
what is your fascination? Are you an athlete?
I am pretty much of an
scratch golfer or?
Now, his question, then he asks another question. He said, what is your fascination? Now, in my mind, I'm just going to finish it, what he just said. Okay? Because then he asked him another question. Are you an athlete? But what is your fascination? With what, sir? With these niggas? So I'm talking about race right now, folks.
First real thing since Mike, and it'll be interesting. And he's younger, and he's this and that.
What is your fascination? Are you an athlete?
Of course. Why do I want y'all to use your heads? Like I say, folks, this is the media, the press. He's going to give his synopsis to the people who wants him to give the breakdown, the feedback that they need from this interview. He's like a therapist right now. He's asked the question, but didn't finish it. And I know what the question was because I know what they were talking about. It was, if they didn't move the goalpost and they stay in focus, they was talking about a bunch of black athletes. I'm gonna stay focused on what they were talking about. They were talking about black athletes. You could say boxing. You could say you have a fascination with sports. But I'm gonna let this continue so you can see what I just said, how I know what he meant.
I am pretty much of an
scratch
athlete.
golfer or close to
Scratch golf.
You mean like you do par 72,
Yeah,
73
I
on
do.
good courses?
On good courses.
Yeah, up against good players.
Up against good players.
For money or not for money?
Well, I like playing for money because it gives you an interest. I mean, it really does. Golf was something that really helped me through a period. When I was really, there's a point at which you can't push. You have to sort of sit back.
So he said golf helped him during the period. So they was playing on his golf course for money. And he made some money playing golf, which helped him with his bankruptcy.
I can wait and see how the chips are falling.
And during the adversity period.
During the adversity period. And I'd go out on the golf course, and sometimes I'd go out with some friends who are good golfers, and you'd play. And you really don't think about all of the problems of the world and the problems of everything. And again, I like to blame myself, but I mean, one of the things is, frankly, I was doing so well, and it was all so easy that I took it easy. And all of a sudden, I started relying on other people, and I said, listen, you went to the Wharton School of Finance, you're a genius, you take care of this, and you take care of that, and you do this. And I stopped, and I got rid of people, and I did it myself. And since then, things have been fantastic. I mean, it's just
92 is the best year of your life?
I think 92 could be certainly one of the best years of my life because it really all came together for me, financially speaking, and in so many other ways.
I read all these numbers, and this is not investigative journalism here. We're interested in what makes you tick, and we don't have the resources or the manpower or the time doing a nightly show to do what somebody would do if they spent 6 months working on a piece about you.
But you do have the brains.
So help me with the numbers. Do you owe $5 billion?
No, at one point, I guess I owed pretty close to $5 billion, but I had assets far in excess of that.
Yeah.
And they passed a 1986 tax law, which was just absolute stupidity by the politicians.
But a lot of people supported that. I mean,
know
Norman and Baker and Bill Bradley and a lot of other people thought this was the tax reform act of all time.
I like
and
Bill
Jack
Bradley.
Kemp too, did he not?
I like Bill Bradley, and I like a lot of the people that you mentioned, and they didn't really support, but Bill Bradley did very much.
Bradley
I have to tell you, he destroyed the home building industry in the United States. He destroyed the savings and loans in the United States.
Tax reform act of 86
Absolutely. What happened is incentive was taken out of the real estate industry. And the industry is such as savings and loans, they're based on real estate. And when the values went down, and they plummeted, they absolutely plummeted. So the savings loans had billions of dollars in real estate that now all of a sudden is one half the billions of dollars in real estate.
But you know better than I do is that during that time, I mean, the savings and loan crisis came about because a lot of savings and loan lent a lot of money to developers that were bad loans and should not ever have been made. And then all of a sudden...
That's true. And I have to tell you, it's 100% true. But a lot of that was exacerbated. A lot of loans that could have been good loans were made into bad loans because of the change, because of the 1986 tax law change. And what that did is all of a sudden you had Resolution Trust, and you're paying billions and billions. In order to save $5 billion in taxes, we're now paying trillions of dollars to save industries and save banks.
And some people have come along and made a ton of money because of Resolution Trust. I mean,
and some people made a lot of money.
Did I see where Ron Perlman the other day made $1 billion or something?
Well, I don't know what he made, but I frankly, he's a good man. I hope he did make a lot of money. But it's the government's fault. The government passed a very stupid law. They have to put the incentive back into real estate. I think they're doing it. I think they're going to do it.
Here's the other side. It is that people with great entrepreneurial gifts like you, get yourself extended too far, too much debt and too much extension. And then when, as happens in America, there is a business cycle. And when the economy goes up and goes down, if you get yourself extended too far and you've got a huge debt service, all of a sudden push comes to shove and you find yourself in a very, very between a rock and a hard place. And it's that, the extending yourself too far, that causes so many people to come to ruin.
Well, I think you're right. I mean, I think I'm not going to, not take blame for that. I think everybody takes blame for that, because anybody that does anything, the only people that don't get in trouble are the people that don't do anything.
If you play it safe and no risk, then there's no reward.
I mean, when I do things, I built the Taj Mahal. They said $1 billion building. How can it possibly? And now it's turned out to be tremendously successful. It takes time. You got to be able to get over the hump. Riverside South is going to be a tremendously
Well,
successful
let's stop at
job.
Riverside South, though. I mean, first of all, here is one of the arguments made about Riverside South, that
a lot has been said right here. I mean, I can move it along, but I'm pretty sure it's interesting. Like I said, this is a deep rabbit hole, because you got to pay attention to everything. He's talking about real estate. He's talking about property. He's talking about the level that he was at right now. If New York didn't really do such an obstacle for him, which pissed him off so much that made him run for president. Trust me, yo, I'm telling you, this is what's making him run for president. This whole stretch right here of what he's talking about in another video I'm gonna play, maybe in part 2. Trust me when I'm telling you this. The government has certain people on their target. And it don't matter if they allow you to be that close to it. They're going to allow you to do, it's like a mousetrap. And so their mousetrap was really to let him in, get him out, and send him to jail. Because since day one, he's been their problem. So they allowed him in, and this is the way they're going to exit him. And they're going to blame every in history failure on him and other billionaires. Yet and still, the game y'all not paying attention to. The game of fake news, because you're not paying attention to these people's history and their rabbit holes. All these people that he's talking about, all these people that news be talking about for years. You don't pay attention to their timeline, their history, what they be a part of, what games that they've been playing. And when I say the games, I ain't saying in a negative way. I'm talking about what games they've been playing. That now in this future in history, where it's going, if you're not with the game, you going to get sent to detention. This is not no game, folks. This is real life. That's why I got this point.
You faced a huge opposition on the part of the Planning Commission. A lot of people who did not want to see a huge development over there. You turned it around, and most people give you the credit for turning around. So, was it 9-0? How many people on the commission? I don't remember. 12-0 vote. How did you do it? And did you make so many concessions in doing it that it no longer is an economically viable project?
Well, the only way you can talk about viability is what's going to happen with the market. Today, nothing is viable. Okay, today nothing is viable. You could have the greatest piece of land in the best location in New York, and nothing's viable. When I did the Grand Hyatt Hotel, I will tell you, the hotel market was in shambles. Everybody said, Donald, you're crazy. And I was crazy, and I did it. And all of a sudden, I got it zoned. I started building it. And by the time it opened, it was a tremendous job.
Yeah, but would it have been successful without the zoning and the abatement?
No, it wouldn't have. I mean, it wouldn't
Okay,
have. But
so
I
you
got the zoning.
concession. Yeah, of course
absolutely.
You did.
And now what we're doing is we're asking for certain things in order to make Riverside South successful. We have tremendous popularity. Every civic association virtually in New York is supporting it.
But they're supporting it because of the concessions you made in terms of subway,
in
terms of how much parks and all of that kind of thing. And so the question.
So as they talking right now, and he's talking in the future. Okay, let's put two conversations. I wish I can have like two videos going on at the same time. And let's just say one video is him talking now. The next video is him talking about how Russia and Ukraine wouldn't have been at war if he was president, because he would have made that deal wouldn't have happened. That it just wouldn't have happened. When people say certain things, people who can't do things tend to be jealous and get mad. But he was making magic happen, and like I say, I've lived in New York, and the paper didn't lie. The newspaper, when I say didn't lie, the news, I don't mean it like that, but the newspaper every day was talking about this cat in some way. In some way. So
question remains,
Well, the bottom
can you
line,
deliver on it?
yeah, the bottom line is if the market comes back, you deliver. If the market doesn't come back, you don't deliver. Now, maybe Clinton's going to come up with a housing program where you're getting a subsidized housing or something, in which case you do it in a different way. We're looking to get zoning for a piece of land that's unzoned, that's employing no people, that's sitting there rotting, that's rat infested. And if I get the zoning, which I hope to be able to get, the city desperately needs the job. If the city turns around, and if the economy turns around, and if incentives are put back into real estate on a federal basis,
If and if.
No, there's always ifs, but there's been ifs on everything I ever did.
But-
when I did Trump Tower, in all fairness, people said I was totally crazy. It couldn't possibly succeed. It was too big, it was too expensive, it was too everything. And it turned out to be probably the most successful condominium development ever in this country.
And is it profitable?
Trump Tower?
Yeah.
The most. I mean, it was the most successful development ever built in this country on a condominium basis. I will tell you, 2 years before I started construction, people thought I was totally crazy to do it. It really worked out to be fantastic. You can say the Taj Mahal, you can say Trump Plaza. I mean, so many of the jobs I do at the time I'm doing them are supposed to be not good, and they turn out to be tremendously
Who makes
successful.
the decision as to when you go? Is that a decision made by you, or is that a decision made by the bankers?
No.
And are you going to parcel those projects off?
I'll tell you what, the city is lucky to have the bankers that I have on my job, because they've invested a lot. They have confidence in me. They have confidence in the city. And frankly, they're very lucky, because otherwise it could be a war. It could be a this, it could be a that, and that would be bad for everybody. I mean, I have some really great banks on this particular site, and they've gone with me, and they believe in me, and I'll tell you what, it's going to be. I think ultimately the decision's going to be right, and it's going to be a great success.
You know what they say: when you owe as much money as you did, they become your partners.
Yeah, but that's really a false statement, because Reichman owed a lot more money than me, and nobody's partners with Reichman.
And he went bankrupt.
Reichman's in deep trouble.
Are they in bankruptcy? I want to be fair to them.
They are in bankruptcy, and frankly, they're in just very deep trouble. The banks, my banks, have had a great confidence in me. They know I'm good. They know I do it the best, and they also know that I'm honest.
But did they have a choice?
Oh, absolutely.
They had a lot of money.
They would have had. They would have.
Were they at?
He sound like DJ Khaled. He sound like 50 Cent. He sound like Diddy. You know what I'm saying? He sound like the typical hip hop artist. You know what I'm saying? A record label owner. You know what I'm saying? He sound like he believe in himself. So I leave that like that. There's no hate. Say, yo, this nigga, yo, do you, son, do you? He said the bankers believe in me. He said in 92, as he said in 2023. The whole point of the fake news is in the media is to make everyone have a disbelief in you. Just like I went through that shit. Everybody want to put out narratives for you to have a disbelief. Ha ha, he, ho ho. You understand? And it's no comeback is just the path. On my path, I had to go down there for me to rise up to a certain level. Now you leveled up, as you'll do with your combo. The video game, you go to the next level. That was part of the mission. Like, you had your shield, you had your sword, you had your helmet, you had your armor, you had all that, you had your horse, and everything, you just fell off everything. Everything is gone. Now you run. You just leveled up in one shot. Because you went to the right town, got with the right people, and they boost you up. Shout out to you once again. Shout out to those ladies out there who truly believe Don't stop believing. Now's the time to believe even more. As a matter of fact, we ain't do this shit in a minute. Shit. $ Icy Don 167. We need some love right now. We on a mission right now. You guys don't. I've been quiet. You guys don't know. We on a mission. We doing some things. Just quiet. Can't wait for next month. See what's going to happen from there. Get with the team. We about to do some things. And when I say we talk about me, myself, and I, and whoever is all part of the team. That's what we be quiet about. We here. That's all I can say. We gearing up. It's 2023, folks. All man on deck. All people on deck. You feel me? You gotta supply the armor. You gotta supply. We gotta supply each other's shields and armor. Don't forget that.
Assets
I'm
enough
not
there to
saying-
get their loan back.
I'm not saying I would have been easy had the other route gone, but I will tell you this. They absolutely had a choice, and they could have gone a different route.
And what
And
would
very
be what's the
wisely.
route they could have gone?
Well, it could have been a contentious route rather than working and working with me, et cetera, et cetera. It could have been a contentious route, and that would have been bad for me. Would have been bad for them.
They
would
could have
been
put
bad
you
for
up against the
city.
wall and said, "You owe us this money. You can't pay it back. We call the tune."
They could have done that, and I think if they did that, it would have been bad for everybody, including them. And I think they understood that. But more importantly, see, I
Bad for
found
them
out
because they would have lost money.
very much.
Right.
I think so. I found out a couple of things about banks. First of all, I find the banks to be very, very underrated in terms of the intelligence level, the whole thing. I mean, I have worked with the banks now very closely for a period of 2 years, and these guys have done a fantastic job, at least as far as my stuff is concerned. I've done great for them, and they've done great for me. And my thing is back. I mean, I believe that in 6 months, in 12 months, I may be stronger than I was 2 years ago or 3 years ago. I think I will be stronger than I was 2 or 3 years ago. I would like to see an uptick in the market. I think you're going to have an uptick
Why
in
do
the
you
market.
think you'll be stronger? I mean, now
Because
that
I
you
have-
clearly have given up equity.
Very little equity. What have I given up? The story is that I gave up equity. What have I given up? I
don't
sold
know.
the shuttle
Right.
for a lot of money.
But you made more money than you sold it for more money than you paid for, or not?
No. I tell you what.
If you sold it for a lot of money but didn't sell, but sold it for less than you paid for, it's not positive.
I didn't reduce not for less. I reduced my debt by hundreds of millions of dollars by the sale of the shuttle, and
But
it
you
worked out
sold
great.
it for less than you paid for.
No, I didn't.
You didn't.
I actually sold it probably for more than I paid for it. But it's a very complex formula that if you sit down with a pencil and paper, we can maybe figure it out someday in 5 years,
and
because
I
it's a
don't wanna-
long-term deal. We don't want to.
Yo, he says a complex formula, meaning that my shuttle made paper for me. So if I bought my shuttle for, let's say I bought the shuttle for $250 million, I don't know, and I sold it for $200 million. So you sold it for less than you if you buy your car, you always sell your car for less than what you bought it for. So, but with my car that I bought, I made, I got Google money. Like you say, it's a formula that if we sit down with your pen and paper, we can break it down. You freaking knucklehead, but I ain't got time. Stop cutting me off.
I bore everybody with it, but I sold the shuttle. I got rid of a tremendous amount of debt. I got rid of a lot of personal guarantees. Taj Mahal,
Personal guarantees are unsecured loans from friends, or what?
Or no, personal guarantees being personal guarantees to banks, where I
Okay.
personally
All right.
guarantee a
Right.
piece
Okay.
of a loan. Basically, if you take the Atlantic City properties, I have up to 80% of the Taj Mahal. The thing's making a fortune. Now I have
Well, is it making a fortune? Stay with me and ask this question. Is it making a fortune, or is it generating a fortune in revenue, but it has a fortune plus?
So now let's just say up to date. Somebody, if you get a chance, this, because in 1992, go to like 1990 Manhattan, where Trump building is. Go and see what it used to look like in like 1990, 1989. See the area, because he said it was all rat infested. Manhattan was really, well, downtown Manhattan. Put it to you like this: 42nd, it's still due. You know what I'm saying? You still do have the chicks out there, but I mean, it was out of control. It was a piece of shit. You understand what I'm saying? So, someone, if you can, Google and see what that area looked like before that building went up, and see what the transition from the time that building going up to this present time. And so when he said it would have been so back then when he said it would have been bad if they would have held him back from doing what he was doing, was he right or was he cocky, arrogant? And that's where you got to become. That's when you become a man and a woman, when you really have a certain type of level of overstanding life. Like, you got to really get the picture. So when everybody like, oh, he's bankrupt, he bankrupt, because everybody want to laugh at someone's downfall. But then don't know how to truly applaud your rise. That's the scary part of being this human shit. You laugh at the downfall, but don't know how to appreciate the rising of people. That's hate, and that's why I was always able to decipher from a lot of things. You know what I'm saying? Because I always knew that I would be rich. Whether I be rich now or be rich old, I will be rich because I'm on the path no matter what, and not going to stare off whether I fall down my face or not. I'm gonna keep rising. So I don't really have that envy that others have. You gotta bring the cat up in the situation. I had to tell Umar, like, yo, I applaud you because I wanted and could have been online a long time ago, but I chose not to because I did not want the heat on the level that our people give, because our people don't know how to rise up with unity. So for what he was able to do, I had to give him props. But I also had, to have myself attached, because this was the path. He just got distorted because of he assuming everyone's out to get him and jealous and all this other retardation shit. That's why I say unity is the most important part of our start. Unity with family and the community. Umar Johnson should have been had that building up and going. I'm supposed to be rocking and rolling in Delaware right now, laughing at the people because y'all thought it was going to be failure. Now he went against the king, and it's like possibly failure. I have no clue what's going on, but it depends. It depends on how much level up the situation is. That's the way I can put it, folks. I told you that the school won't open until he's finished dealing with me. So it depends on whether I choose to level it down or not. That's the way I put it. I better get my money ASAP. Otherwise, it's so leveled up, it's crazy. My name is Donald. Look it up. It means world ruler. Don't don't play games.
in expenses.
No, it has a big fortune in expenses. I mean,
Okay.
it's run first class. It's a 4-star
Okay,
hotel.
but that's
It's
the
great.
point. Then, how much of this in the end is net cash flow,
Well, I'll give you
or how much
an
is it
example.
simply that a lot of money is flowing in, but also out the other door is a lot of money going the other way?
I mean, I'll
to
give you
pay
an
for it?
example. We'll have probably $80 million in interest. I think the Taj could have a cash flow of maybe $30 to $40 million after debt.
Yeah.
That's some cash flow. That's a great cash flow. Now, what do I do with it? I do with the West Side Yards. I do the Riverside South. I do other things. But the Taj Mahal's turned out very successfully. Trump Plaza, I own 100% of Trump Plaza. There's this misnomer that I sold like this or that. I sold very little. I mean, when you think of it,
But why didn't would your friend Greenberg from Bear Stearns say he used to own 100% of assets that were worth nothing?
Well,
Now he owns 50% of things that are making a lot of money.
Well, what happened in Atlantic
That's a
City?
difference.
Well, there is a difference. And I own 50% of the castle.
Right.
But when I say I own 50%, I'm also paying much less interest because I sold 50% to bondholders.
Right.
And in return for that, I got a reduction in debt, a reduction in this, and a reduction in interest. So it's making a lot more money. In Trump Plaza's case in Atlantic City, I own 100% of it. And that is turning out to be fantastic.
I can take your word on all of this.
By the way, Charlie, I have to tell you, because of the fact that a big difference is, and that's why you see in all the casino things, because of the fact that
they want to see you as a
up,
winner, because if you're a winner, it means that they're a winner.
Well, they don't want to see me as a winner, actually, because I have to tell you, when things started going bad, I was on the cover, but instead of my hands being up, I had my chin down, okay? So nobody wants to see me be a winner.
Let me just stay with that image for a second. Was it?
So he said in 1992, as you say now, nobody wants to see him be a winner. He's a billionaire, and he talked about nobody wants to see him be a winner. Now, to be a human being and to live a life like that and be rich as fuck, and not to have that certain type of love where you can regurgitate that love back, you can just give it all back, because nobody wants to see you be a winner. And that's what I'm saying. They help you when you're down because they feel like they over you, but nobody really wants to see you be a winner. They don't want to help you become a winner where you can really elevate their all.
It embarrassing for you? They say about you, they took his toys away, they took his yacht away, they took his.
Nobody took it away. I sold.
Yeah, but I mean, did the banks put you on an allowance or not?
No.
I mean, help us understand how bad it got for you, and whether you were embarrassed, and whether you said, "Wow."
Well, when you say embarrassed, I didn't love waking up in the morning and walking out.
Well, but help us understand that. I mean, you were a guy who was the big winner, and all of a sudden the paper's full of stories that saying, Trump in trouble. Trump, golden boy, no longer has Midas touch.
Right. I'll tell you what the hardest part is. And the hardest thing about life to understand. In baseball, if you get 15 runs in the first inning and you don't get any more runs, you still have 15 runs at the end of the game.
Well, it depends on what the other guy does.
Well, no, but generally speaking, you're going to win that game, okay? It's as sad as it is to say, but you're going to win that game. You get 15 runs, it's pretty well over. Okay?
That's the Atlanta Braves.
Okay, I mean, we've seen some examples, but anyway. In life, I was 15-0, and then I had one very bad year. Now I had a bad year. Maybe it was my fault because, hey, it was a lot of people's fault. It was also the government's fault. It was a lot of people's fault.
You'll take some responsibility, though.
Absolutely, I have to, because I'd be a fool if I didn't. But I have to tell you, a lot.
Okay, so right there, 1992. Do you take me? Yeah, hell yeah. I'll be a fool if I didn't. So for all these years, it's still the same question, trying to break his pride, break him down, break him to fall in slumber, to say they do that to Kanye West as well. It's like they try to make you humble yourself and be so weak and say, yeah, I failed. See, I'm talking about failing, and I'm a failure. And so you can embrace that. See, you cannot, don't embrace it. Don't become it. Know it happened, and you rise up from it. But most people want to indulge into it so it can become part of your system. That's spell casting. So once you can start saying it, and then you start believing it because you're hearing it in your mind, you're hearing it, but don't speak it. It's like speaking failure into your own system. But yeah, it was my fault. Yeah, but what happens?
A lot of smart people are in real deep trouble right now, and I'm not. And a lot of people, really smart people, are dead. They're gone. They're buried. They're over.
And
Their
so,
history.
and one more time, why are they dead, buried, gone, history, and you are alive, well, and as they say,
Before I
want to come back?
explain that, I just want to say that you have 15 great years. You have one bad year, and people judge you by your last thing. You're only as good as your last thing. You're only as good as your last article or what you've done lately. And that's it. I mean, you take a guy like Harry Helmsley. I mean, the man had 50 great years. Then, unfortunately, he married Leona. I mean, this was like a major mistake.
Here we go
He
again.
marries Leona. Hey, yeah, poor Harry. I feel so sorry for you. Harry, get rid of her. Just leave her alone. Find a new woman if you can. But I'll tell you what, he marries Leona. So now all of a sudden he has a couple of bad years, to put it mildly, bad years. I mean, we're talking about major. They don't say the score is 50 to 2. No, they don't say the score is 50 to 2. As far as they're concerned, Harry is like this major failure, and that's a shame because that's not the way life should work. It should be 50 to 2. That's a pretty good record. Well, I had 15 great, then I had the one bad year and 1.5 real bad years where I had a fight. I mean, it was a struggle. It was a survival. It was surviving at the top. I wrote the book. It was surviving at the top. And it wasn't easy and it wasn't pleasant. And
did you ever think you'd lose? Did you ever lose confidence? Did you ever say,
no,
I may not get out of this?
No.
Not once.
Not once. And the reason I didn't say it is because I had to go back and do it myself. You see, I built what I built myself. And I did it by working long hours and working hard and working smart. More importantly than anything else is by using my own brain. And there was a point where I was making so much, so fast, and it was so easy that I almost got bored. And it's true. And I write about this. I mean, I'm writing about this. It's really been an experience.
I should believe you here saying, in a way, this was good because it gave me a chance to test myself. The adversity was good. It put me back and made me leaner and hungry again because everything was at stake and therefore I had to pay attention.
Well, I think I'll look at it in the future as being good. And you know, when it was happening, I had no choice. I just had to do it, and I did it myself. And all of a sudden, I'll give you an example: Riverside South. I've had Riverside South for 5 years. I've had the land for 5 years.
All right, so let me show him up real quick because he said something that's really key. Because he said that in the future he might look at it, as. Let me just rewind so I can quote back so I can say exactly what I'm trying to say in the right way.
When it was
right here. So it said right there. Look at it in the future as being good. Okay, because he's like, what do you think that the whole downside and that whole year and a half downfall was like a good thing for you or bad thing? He said, well, maybe down in the future I can see it's being good. I'm gonna say that because as he's running for office and all this other shit, and a lot of these other Republicans always talk about we got to stop with the handouts. He said, yo, the first run, he didn't even appreciate he was making so much money, but how did he get it? He got it. He got up because of between the loans and the handouts and all the other shit, he got up. But once everything was taken, and then he started finessing everything, learning a little bit more about business and learning how to finesse stuff and learning the importance of not doing everything on his own and doing it this way and then finesse it this way. It's like he said, even though he keeps saying his way, he sold something, he's only 50%, but they had to let him know, like, yeah, you're 50%, you still own it. You the owner, but yet still that just look at that other 50% that's going that way is all the bills that you was paying for before. So all this right here, your 50% run will be profit in a different level, on a different level. And that's the business that a lot of people doing things and making it as an entrepreneur, it's kind of hard to learn because you think that you want to make all the money. So as he's kicking it with the dude, he does let you know that maybe down the road I see it being good because what I'm saying, I finessed the shit, and that's what he's saying right now. Y'all better stop with looking for handouts. Get up, let's work. And then everybody say, oh, well, who are you? You got $1 million handed from your dad. He bailed you out. He did this. The interview he's speaking right now. He said, yes, he had family. Wouldn't we all wish we had family to help on certain levels to make things happen? I tell you like this: from this interview, from right to him running for office and being jailed and all this other bullshit, and still going strong. As this a New Yorker? This is real gangster New York story, dog. Like this Trump story. See. Let's get down the future now. The Trump story. How many of you guys gonna watch it? How many of you folks is gonna watch the Trump story? Who? Oh, fuck Trump. You need to go jail. How many people is really gonna watch that Trump story? You best believe Trump is gonna have one of those whatever you call those movies. I forget what they call those type of movies, but he's gonna have that. And it cannot be 2 hours. It has to be a docuseries. It has to be. It cannot be some old 2 hour anything. And you all know that shit. Because right now it's a real life movie. Facts. You know it. Stop playing. You know it. Right now you watching this shit like a O.J. Simpson movie. And it goes all it's going to go. You listen, folks, for everybody who's like, oh, Trump's going, it's going to go all the way to whatever climax they got to take it to. This is a real movie right now. That's why I'm going back to that COVID shit. Yo, y'all better gear up and be ready for wars. Don't play games. Don't give in this time. We not giving in, folks. We are not giving in, folks. We are not giving in, folks. Stop playing. Kyrie Irving, where you at? We are not giving in. Who want to get the Jamie Foxx? Who want to get Jamie Foxx? That's what. Okay, that's the new thing. We talk about COVID. Who want to get Jamie Foxx? So when everybody say, "Oh, you gonna get your," I ain't getting Foxx. You're not getting vaxxed. No, I'm not getting Foxxed. What you mean by that? I'm not getting Jamie Foxx. That's that. Done deal, folks. Done deal, folks. Done fucking deal. Move on.
Happening, I had no choice. I just had to do it, and I did it myself. And all of a sudden, I'll give you an example. Riverside South. I've had Riverside South for 5 years. I've had the land for 5 years. I went through a succession of executives that were in charge of Riverside South. A year and a half ago, I took it over myself. And as you say, I got a 12-0 vote, and you were told that I sort of did it myself. I did do it myself. Okay. I mean, you can't believe everything you read, but I did do it largely by myself with a group of people. But I really spearheaded something that's turned out to be, I think, going to be a great thing. I really went back to work, and I really did things myself. And I think that's why I survived. And I think maybe, who knows?
Let me point out a couple of other things here this time. You lost during this period 3 key executives.
Yo, as he keeps saying, did myself, yo, like as I'm doing whatever I'm doing right now, with the help of what I have, which allows me to maneuver, I'm doing myself. With the little connects and resources I have to make things happen, I'm doing myself. And the connects and resources even said to me this year, they was like, yo, why don't you do everything that you say for yourself? Just do it. Instead of doing for in-house, do it for yourself. And yo, I tell you like this, the funny thing is, last year they was trying to get me to join some corny susu and put my money and talk about like, you'll have a certain amount of money saved up by August. I'm like, I just need to have some money so I can invest, so I can keep flipping my money. And the same amount of money that they said I would have by August, had it. I put had because now it's been spent, and I'm working on getting it back again before the end of September on my own. You know what I'm saying? My way. So for all you guys out there that's still holding on to whatever the system is applying for you, no, it's unity time. Align with those who's making things happen and help them make it happen, and it's going to make it happen for you. Be each other crutches. That's the time we on right now. Don't keep being caught up with what they're allowing you to do and allowing you to make. Because right now they're working on taking it away. That's why they're implementing this vax, this whole COVID shit again. Y'all be safe out there. But at the same time, don't become fearful and become so fearful that you fall out the cavalry. All hands on deck. The cavalry is needed. The war is on.
Very
who
tough.
died in a
And
helicopter
friends.
crash,
Let's
and
fast
friends
forward.
who were running, and then you went through some executives after that, and finally put your lawyer in charge down there, right?
Who's done a great job.
You had a divorce.
Right.
No, I
It was
know
you were
that.
the fair to say people were laughing at you about this divorce, and we were amused in the tabloids. I wasn't living in New York at the time, but we were amused by it. But at the same time, some people said, "Enough of this. I'm tired of
Oh, I
reading
would have
about
loved to
this
say
kind of
enough.
stuff."
I mean, I couldn't help it. It was
Yeah,
on the
but you were
front page of
feeding
the
the columnists too.
I wasn't feeding. I mean,
You had no conversations with all these people?
you know, it wasn't a
Or was
feed.
it?
It wasn't a feed. It was a frenzy. I have to tell you. And I wasn't feeding anybody. They were feeding themselves. They were making up
It
stories.
was.
I called up one of the top people in one of the New York tabloids, and I said, "Hey, look, this is ridiculous. This story didn't happen. Don't put it in." He said, "I know it didn't happen, but Donald was selling papers like crazy." And they knew it before the story was written. They put it in anyway. And I think for 28 days in a row, I mean, you know, we talk about Woody Allen was a big story. This thing just swamped everything.
It
Okay,
did.
this swamped everything. This was the biggest of the big. It was crazy. It was out of control.
It was actually annoying. I mean, like, for those who was in New York, and you got to really realize, like, the nigga ain't lying. He's not lying. It was like, yo, it was so much publicity that made him so much, like, just the talk of the town. And they do it to this day. Like, anything he do with a woman, like, yo, why? What's wrong with y'all? It's because they want to keep you guys having a hate for him, making like he has a hate, thinking that he has a hate towards women. But earlier, when he was praising moms, he was praising sisters, he was praising. When he give props to women. Now watch. This is a good scene right here, because he's going to tell you right now his stance on his future stance. Right now, this conversation. This conversation right here that stems from Marla Maple, his wife, or whatever it was. Remember what he said about that rich dude when he got with that woman, Hemsley chick. So they was going at him since then. They was going at him because they think, oh, he's a male chauvinist, he don't like women. Oh, so okay. Because we be calling out for what it is. Like I say, Jezebel, nigga, what the fuck? Gotta watch these Jezebels. He didn't use the word. He called her Jezebel. And because he's calling out for what it is, the demonites had to demonize him. Because he called it the demon, he called it out. Jezebel.
And I guess it had all the elements of a soap opera.
Did
but
it bring any satisfaction to you that during this adversity you were able to get out of the marriage at a time perhaps you gave up a lot less money than you might have imagined you would do at another time? Now,
well,
come on, tell me the truth.
I mean, there were those people that say that I did this purposely in order to get
Well,
out of
no,
the
but there are
divorce.
those who said that you used that adversity as a time to say, you know, it may not ever get any better, so you better, you know, people were saying you better make your deal now.
Yeah. I
True?
was very happy to pay Ivana what I paid her. I mean, this was what I was supposed to pay her. This is what I did pay her, because she, if anything happened a year ago where I went down the tubes, where I really
My bad, Ivana. You know, I know she's dead and rest in peace, you know, but I said Marlon. I meant to say Ivana.
Would have ended up with nothing. She and the children would always have been taken care of, and that was very important to me. I mean, at the time, don't forget, I was being sued for $2 billion at one point
By her.
by her,
Right.
and that was going to be a nasty, contentious suit. And frankly, had I not had a glitch, I would probably not be on this program right now. I'd be at divorce court.
If you hadn't had
Would be
what?
at
Oh,
a
if you
late
hadn't
night.
been down
Had I
into
not
to the
been
if you
here,
hadn't bottomed out and put some pressure on her and her
well, it
attorney.
wasn't a question of pressure. I mean, there was a point where she probably felt I wasn't going to make it. I mean, there was a point where a lot of people felt I wasn't going to make it, except me. I really felt I was.
Were you telling her differently that maybe?
I wasn't telling her
anybody
anything.
saying?
I wasn't telling her anything. All she had to do was read the New York Times and the Wall Street Journal. I mean, they were making these dire predictions about me and others, but I guess I got more print than anybody else. That's the negative. I mean, the good is when you're doing well, and they do that. The bad is when you're doing bad, they do it the other way, all right? And they did it the other way times 10. So what happened is, had I not been involved in a glitch, I don't believe that we would be here right now. I would be studying for tomorrow's examination before trial. Okay. And what happened?
It duked it out in a lawsuit.
Well, I think Ivana probably would have gone further than she did, but it got so bad, and the stories began getting so bad that she said, "Well, I better take what I'm entitled to according to the contract that we had signed." And she ended up taking the $10 million plus to this, plus to that, and it's probably a package of 20 or 20.
So when you say it's probably a package of $20 to $25 million that she was able to get, because like I said, yo, the fake news. See, I'm gonna use the fake news right now because we in the future now. Okay, we in the future now. We watching this in 2023. This is in 1992 what he was going through at that time, in that present moment, and what he got out of the situation, even with the wife. And I remember it was crazy, out of control. And then everybody saying that's what she got. That's all she got. That's all she got. And everybody trying to say he robbed her. But now he's telling the story. No, she felt like, oh, damn, let me get what I can get because of the situation of the publicity. Painting such a negative picture. Now, who's to say that he probably wasn't in control of that, telling everybody that, in control of publicity? But I don't think so. But the publicity was trying to embarrass him. See, that's what I'm trying to tell you. They was more so focusing on embarrassing him, belittling him, minimizing him. Way back then, for whatever reason, we now know. We now know. Because behind the scenes, they was not. A lot of folks wasn't doing the deals that he needed to do. And so now he pushed and pushed and pushed. And got into a position where now he's slapping everyone in the face. And they knew it. And they knew it was going to come. They knew it was going to come. And they've been trying to prevent it for a very long time. And like I say, they used the race with us folks. They've been using that race for a very long time. And as you heard them adamantly talk about Mike and Holyfield and Lennox, yes, those are athletes, those are boxers, and slave owners had boxes, and they fight for them shits on their slave ranches and plantations for money. They've been doing that shit forever. I agree. But level of sincerity is heard and felt as a person speaks upon another person, where you know whether or not the person's heart is really in a negative state or not, or a state of greed. And I ain't since hate as he spoke on Mike, which led them to talk about Lennox Lewis, to let them talk about Holyfield, which also going to lead them to talk about another athlete. And I don't know if I'm getting to it, but as he said, so he said, yeah, he's going to have this athlete on tomorrow, and I know that you're going to be excited about this one. You're going to tune in. So, and it was a black dude. So my point was that what's your fascination with these black athletes? And he probably say, yo, I respect and admire them. Just like when Kanye popped up on him, he said Kanye's a good motherfucker. He said he's a good man. But everyone wants you to believe he's such an evil racist. who's trying to start the Civil War. The Civil War is being manipulated by the demons that's in control right now, because they're in control of both sides. Whatever power structure, economic that's behind this demon, the Democrats is in right now, you got to be careful, folks. So if you're not with any agenda that's not with what family was when your great grandfather was around, what family structure used to look like when your great grandparents was around. Whoever's against that, whoever's against what your great grandfather used to look like, and the testosterone that your great grandfather had in him, and the level of manhood that he had in him, if they're against that, that's the demon. Anything that's trying to break that manhood out and promote anything else is the demon. I don't give a flying F what you say. And I could prove it. But folks, that's pay-per-view. Ain't got time for that.
$25 million, and I think she was smart.
No, we do have time for that. I can't prove that.
Smart in doing it in the end. I think her lawyers were horrendous. I think she was horribly represented. She could have gotten a lot more money earlier if she had decent lawyers, but she had lawyers.
Meaning what? She could have gotten a lot more money earlier?
At an earlier stage.
She would have been more amenable to giving more money in a settlement.
I offered more money than she ended up getting. But Yvonne.
See, he's like, I'm not stuttering. Like, nigga, I offered her much more money, but she was playing hardball. She played hardball all the way to that point, and so then that's what she got. She panicked. She was all about the money. She was a demon in his life. But y'all women probably all saying, "Oh, he did this, he did that, he did that." No, Trump. She was not the right one. You saw when she passed away what she looked like. This man's still running strong. It's like it reminds me of like Bobby and Whitney. Everybody want to really, truly demonize Bobby, but Bobby's still around. Dancing and singing whenever he get a chance. And whether Whitney got murdered or not, Whitney put herself in that position to be judged on that level where people don't know if she got murdered or not, which sucks. But that's what the world would do. It would always manipulate everything and make you think wrongly of the wrong person. Jezebel.
Anna, who's somebody that I'll always love, she decided in her great wisdom to hire these characters that were just looking for fame and fortune for themselves, in my opinion. And they did a bad job for her. They really did. And my folks did a great job for me. I had a wonderful lawyer who did a great job for me. And in the end, though, I'm saddened by it because I would have preferred the initial deal with Ivana. She was very, very poorly represented in this divorce action.
You must have some sensitivity, though, for a woman in what she might be going through. I mean, you seem all powerful there, and she doesn't know, and she has to lean on the advice that she gets. And people are saying, this guy's got tons of money. And
but she was leaning on the Wall Street Journal. I mean, when the bad stories started coming out, she was believing those stories. And she should have believed those stories. I'm not even saying the stories were wrong. I've done things, but I'm not saying those stories at the time were wrong. The economy was atrocious, and the business was bad, and the real estate business was horrendous, and the casino business was bad, and we're opening up the Taj Mahal in the middle of a war.
Right.
Okay, I'm opening the largest building in the world.
And people were not flooding Atlantic City at that time.
Well, no, I mean, everyone's sitting home watching the war.
And also, she's reading about you and another woman. That can't be pleasing.
She's reading, and I never left for another woman. I mean, this is one of the great misconceptions. I left because I got tired of the balls and tired of the ballroom gowns and all the nonsense.
What does that mean?
Well, I'm just one that doesn't necessarily believe, they call them the so-called charity events, but the people that have these charity events are probably the least charitable people I've ever met. And they have them for their own, vilification. They have them for their own, whatever it is, they have them for their own. And they want the press and they want the nonsense. And
So why do we care?
Now, if you stay with me with this right here, this is where the rabbit hole gets deep. The fox is in the rabbit hole, folks. Okay? Yvonne, she's all caught up in the glitz and glamour, the ballroom. She always want that limelight shit. He's looking at her like she's a bozo. He's so caught up in his world of business. He's trying to really be this comeback kid. He's tired of everybody talk about how he got the handouts. He's trying to rise up, and she's on some glamour and glitz shit. They now have two different life mentalities. He's rich, he's still part of it, but like he said, yo, he wished that he can just become poor just to see who's really loyal. So he's actually having a mental breakdown, which led to his loss of the year and a half. And with the right Jezebel in his life is breaking him down more. Okay, folks? She's gone. He had a demon in his life. Y'all want to blame him? He had a demon in his life from that time.
If it generates a lot of money for charity.
I'm not sure that it does. I'm really not sure that it does. I mean, I look at some of them, and I look at the expense, and I look at the magnificent table settings at the Plaza Hotel, and which I'm very happy about, but at the Plaza Hotel and all the other places. And in the end, I don't think they make a hell of a lot for charity. And then I look at United Way, where the man's paid, virtually millions of dollars to run United Way. And I look at what happens in charities. I study charities, and there are very few well-run charities.
So you got tired of the gowns and the ball and all that
I got
stuff?
tired of the scene, and I knew the scene, and I knew the people, and some of the people I like, in all fairness, and some of the people I don't like. They're a vicious breed.
Someone listened to that would just hear you say that's not what happened. This was a guy who was on top of the world, and he wanted to have his cake and eat it too. He wanted out because he wanted to date a lot of young, attractive women who viewed him as a giant catch. And an interesting man to be with.
I'm out now, and it's great. I have to tell you, I really like it. I think it's great. I've never had a better time.
Tell me what's great about it.
But I just like it. I mean, for whatever it is. Maybe I shouldn't like
freedom,
it.
The independence.
It's a freedom. It's a freedom. I can do what I want. I can be with who I want to be with. I really like it, and I would tell you if I didn't. And by the way, I think at a certain point I won't like it. I'll get tired.
At a certain point, you'll say, "I want to settle down with one person."
At a certain point, I think I'll say that. I think I'll say that very strongly. But at this point, I do like it. I had a fabulous wife in many respects.
Great kids.
Fantastic children, great children. I love them, and so therefore that was so worthwhile. I had another friend later who was also fantastic for a fairly long period of time. And I just didn't want to settle down. I mean, I didn't want to get married. I didn't want to marry Marla, and I didn't want to settle down. And I'm just not ready for it. It's just not me. I mean, it's not right now. At some point...
Is that what killed that relationship then?
Well, a lot of things perhaps killed it, but I would say that probably that's the predominant thing. I mean, I was very antsy. I didn't want to settle. And of course, don't forget, I'm busy. I'm doing a lot of different things, and I love doing it. I'm so happy now. I enjoy getting up and going out to the wars, and the wars are now becoming battles, and it's just worked out well. But you can't devote lots of time to a relationship when you're going through this.
There is also said in this piece by...
That's just truth. And, like I said, he's coming back. And so his level of tenacity and the hunger for what he's doing is like honestly beyond the money. It's now because he don't want to fail again. So now he's working for never to fail again. That's a different type of work. That's what level I'm on. So I know what he's thinking. That's why I don't have no chick. Because if she's not thinking on that level, I ain't got time for no chick.
Julie Baumgartner, that you love the limelight. and that you seek in the public and the public's adulation something, that the mirror of that is somehow important, confirming, true?
I don't think so. I think that I loved it at one point. I think I've gotten used to it. I think
Could you
I
do
do
without
well
it,
in
though?
it. Well, see, I look at it differently. It's great for my business. I mean, the fact is that my casinos are up more than, as you know, my casinos are up more than any casinos in the United States. We're up number 1, 2.
I wish you didn't cut him off and let him just keep speaking before he got to talk about this dumb shit. That announcer keep doing that. He keep cutting him off. But
I look at it differently. It's great for my business. I mean, the fact is that my casino.
the limelight. To this day, right now, like I said, he loves those rallies because those rallies is something that he was not getting in the 90s. He was not getting that type of love. So as you folks think that on one level, I see it from all levels. Because once you put it together, you got to understand, hate is hate, whether you're rich or poor. You understand what I'm saying? And I'm using myself, for example, the amount of hate that I was getting from all these clowns. I don't even feel like saying your names, clowns. But all the clowns that was clowning, that goofy coon shit, spreading a bunch of fake news, false allegations, retarded shit, trying to break a person down, take away whatever little viewership that you're getting. It would feel real good to move to another level, move to a different site, and just be power boosted up and have thousands of people watching your stuff. Because I'm actually, personally, I feel like, my conversation is worth it. And I talked to a lot of females on the phone, and I know we spoke many hours. And I'm talking about from present day to when I was a young man. So it's not like my convo is not worth it. I'm eating something. So to have a rally and be able to go to thousands and have thousands of people checking on you, homeboy was not lying. I've been to a few of them. He was not lying when he said he had thousands and thousands and thousands of people that couldn't get in. They had to turn away. It was that shit is limelight incitement on another level because he feels as if he's doing it for a reason. See, the limelight that he's in right now is not no limelight on no personal level. There's not no limelight on no Taj Mahal. It's not no limelight on no buildings. It's a limelight, as he say, making America great again. So now let's take this cat out the picture. Who is in the limelight to make America great again? Now, don't be a dick face and so about what do you mean by making America great again? This video right here is 1992. This man said to him, would you say that 1992 was your greatest year? And he said, well, right now I have to say that 1992 was probably one of my greatest years. I have to see what pretty much what the future brings. So when he say make America great again is when he's making his bread and the economy was rocking and rolling. I don't think he's going back before he was alive. Because if you ask him when was America really great, he'd probably say shit 1992.
Casinos are up more than, as you know, my casinos are up more than any casinos in the United States. We're up number 1, 2, and 3 in increases in Atlantic City. Number 1, 2, and 3 every month.
But are they at the same time? And I don't want to hammer at this question. At the same time, the most profitable. It's one thing to be up in revenue, and you're saying they're up in revenue. You're not necessarily saying that they are the most
The
profitable.
Taj Mahal has the largest gross operating profit of any casino in Atlanta. Profit, and I was going down. They sort of deserted me, and I'm, you know, this is not the way it should be
But
in
tell
life.
me who deserted you.
No. I'm talking about customers. I'm not only
Okay.
talking about, you know,
Friends,
local
right.
friends, this, that. When the customers, the Taj Mahal customer, when the customers, the casino customers, even the condominium buyer customers, when they thought I was going down for the count, they really did desert me. I have to say. Now that they see I'm doing well again, now that they see I'm back, now that they see all these crazy magazine covers, I will tell you, one of the reasons that my casinos are up so much more is that they're all coming back.
But it's, are you saying that therefore it makes sense for you to promote this notion? I mean, look at this picture here. I mean, you like this.
Isn't he a handsome
You know,
guy?
you like this, don't you?
No, I don't
But
really.
is it good
I'm
for
not sure I
you to
like the
promote
picture.
that because it says Donald is back and all of this stuff about scrambles off the canvas, in a sense, is good for business.
It
So
is good
therefore
for
you
business.
like this, don't you?
No,
I wanted to see the date. Can't really see it.
I don't
But
really.
is it good
I'm
for
not sure I
you to
like the
promote
picture.
that because it says Donald is back and all of this stuff about scrambles off the canvas, in a sense,
Thank
is good
God.
for business.
It
So
is good
therefore
for
you're
business.
promoting that
You know
image.
what? It is
You
good
want
for business.
people to believe that you're back.
I mean, as an example, it's late in the evening right now. It's not that you're a fantastic guy, and we did this down in New Orleans, but in New Orleans it was during the afternoon. It was really much more pleasant. Right now it's late in the evening, and here we are doing an interview.
Yeah, right.
It
And a
happens
heck of an
to
interview
be.
it is.
I hope we're going to have a good time. I mean, I hope you get good ratings too.
do
I mean,
too.
anything for you,
Yeah,
Joe.
exactly.
And I'll tell you what, it happens
Poor
to
boy
be.
from the north. Yeah, go ahead.
That's right. It happens to be great for business. I mean, the fact that it's coming back. Now, it would be nice if it were the other way. If
Yeah.
you have problems, wouldn't it be nice
All
if
right,
everyone?
but apart from all that, come on, ego.
I have an ego.
Of course you do.
I've never met a successful person that
Nor
didn't
have
have
I.
an ego. And
Nor have I.
you know,
People
I
are driven
feel
by it. I mean, Mother Teresa has an ego.
absolutely.
You know, so
bigger,
you're
bigger than you would ever believe. all
well,
right?
I've never had the pleasure, but nevertheless, I mean, part of it, you love the limelight. You love beyond the business and what it does, and the whole sense of the Trump image. You like it. You like the fact that there's security guys coming ahead of you and sweeping behind you, and there's this adulation, and women want to be with you, and wherever you go, there are flashbulbs and all of this kind of thing. You like it.
I don't mind it. I don't mind it.
No,
And,
don't mind it or
no,
relish
I'll tell
it.
you what. I used to like it more. I still like it.
Yeah.
I probably would miss it if it weren't here.
Yeah, because
I
it might-
probably would. No,
yeah.
I probably would.
Because you've grown accustomed to it as part of your.
Maybe I have gone. You know, it's been sort of wild, but I also think it's great for business. I mean, it is great for the casino business. It's great for the condominium business. It's great. Hey, they just came out with a report, the Corcoran report, that Trump apartments in New York sell for more on a square foot basis, which is really than any apartments in New York by far. It's not even close.
Let me
And
talk.
a lot of that is all of this nonsense.
Let me talk about people you ought to say sorry to.
Now listen, all that he said now, like I said, is great for business. As he's going through his trials and tribulations with this whole court shit and all these 40-some accounts, he's up more than he was when he was running against Hillary. His polls is higher than what he was when he was running against Biden. No matter what type of spotlight they put this man in such a spotlight right now. Like you said, he's so used to it. He don't love it as much as he used to, but he was something that's part of his nature to love. To take that spotlight away will hurt. So even all the way to the mugshot, this man right now has figured out a way to embrace all of this. And like I say, behind the scenes, he really knows what's going on. And that's the scariest part, because like I said, that's the rabbit hole that I need you guys to understand, whether you are voting or not. We are all part of this rabbit hole that there's not too many of these older men who know that's around, that's really going to actually fight that type of war. There ain't that many. And so the last of those little few, we the people must use them as the pieces that we need on this board before they are gone.
If there might be. One is, and I'm talking, one, I raised this person first. That guy in Philadelphia, who they say you got fired. You remember the guy who did the stock analysis?
I saw. He did great. I mean, he
Yeah.
came out, he did well, and now he's
Yeah, but
he's
I mean,
my biggest champion.
Okay, but
You know, he's the one.
Yeah, but you got him fired. You can't. You got to look back.
I can't help that his firm fired him. If they
Yeah.
fired
Oh no,
him,
come on. Did they fire him because of a call from you?
I have no idea.
Okay.
Really, I have
But
no
don't
idea.
you have any regret for that?
Perhaps.
I mean, one man may have lost a job because you leaned on his.
Because he's a tough guy. He's a savvy guy. He's come out great. He's a stock analyst, and he's now my biggest champion. He's saying it's the greatest comeback. In fact, he used the word brilliant. I hate to tell you this.
What's his name?
His name is Marvin Rothman.
That's right.
And he was a great critic of me, and now he's saying that this was one of the most brilliant things.
So you did him a favor by getting him fired?
Well, I think in the long run, I think he's probably doing better now.
So you did him a favor. That's so.
Indirectly, I did him. I wasn't looking to do him a favor, but I think indirectly.
But don't you regret that? I mean,
no, I don't regret it.
This guy lose his job?
No, because that's life. You can't look back. I don't like to look back.
No regrets then? I mean, there's no one that you'd say regrets.
Now. If I had it to do again, would I have done things differently? Yes.
What would you have done
differently? I probably, instead of stopping with the sale of the St. Moritz, where I sold and I made a lot of money, I probably would have sold some other things.
And that
I think I would have treated people differently. I think that,
I think I would have treated people differently. Okay? That was very important. I wanted to hear what he had to say. I was like, really, what you talk about? I don't want him to really talk right now, but let's see how much he fucks this up.
Some of the people that were most loyal to me are people that I didn't think would be. Some of the people that were least loyal to me are people that I think I would have treated them differently. I think I would have treated different groups differently. I would have
treated different groups differently. I would have wiped, you know what I'm saying? Pay attention to these words right here.
The floor with the guys that weren't loyal, which I will now do, which is
he would wipe the floor of those guys that weren't loyal, which he would now do. This is 1982. Here we are in 2023 or 2022. In 2020, how he was going hard on Mike Pence. Okay. This movie right now is really unfolding.
Right, I love getting even with people, but
when you say I love getting even with people,
well, I would have wiped.
You love getting even.
Oh, absolutely. You don't believe in the eye for the eye. You do.
No.
I know you well enough. I think you do. But anyway, but
tell me. I mean, you're going to get even with some people.
Yeah, I know. If given the opportunity, I will get even with some people that were disloyal to me. I mean, I had a group of people that were disloyal.
But how do you define disloyal?
They didn't come to my aid.
Well, what did they do? They turned their back on you?
No, but they didn't do small things that would have helped. They didn't do large things.
Give me one example.
Well, I had one man who frankly was on the board of a company that I was selling, and it was a tremendous sale for me. It was a great sale. Would have been a very helpful sale, and it ended up going through. But one of the things is that I had to take
Shuttle.
No, this was a different company. It doesn't matter which company, and it was a great thing for me. But one of the things is I had to clear the board. Now I only put him on that board because of the fact I thought I was doing him a favor. He got some money by being a board member, et cetera, et cetera. He contributed nothing. When it came time, I have 5 board members. When it came time to removing the slate and getting all my people, everyone said, I'm leaving.
Right.
Steve Ballenbach, Harvey Freeman, everyone left, except this one particular person said, I don't want to leave. He told my people, I don't want to leave. Well, when I heard about it, I went nuts, and I blasted him, and all of a sudden he left. But I consider that a great act of disloyalty. I put him on that board. Now, he did leave. He did leave. It's a little like Andrew. Andrew ended up in favor of Riverside South, but for all I had done, I had never asked him for anything. This is a great job. This is a job that he should have been in favor. He had to do a poll in order to find out whether or not he was going to support it.
But how can you get even with Andy Stein? I mean, this guy's...
It's not a question of getting even. I can certainly be disappointed in certain people, and I was very...
Remember, Andrew Stein was that politician. Okay, folks? He asked him in 1982, how can you get even but by becoming president? Well, now, whether this Stein dude is alive or not, they don't want this man in office for whatever reasons that this conversation is on. And the deepness of each question that he asked them, the real strong deepness of it, is the reason why this election is really, really crucial right now. Who would ever think that this dude really will be having an effect on the country? Who thought that? Who thought this man would be having this, a certain type of impact on this country? I'm gonna ask a question. I want to do a poll. In fact, let me ask a question. Maybe, I don't even know how long I've been doing this shit for. Let me ask the question this way. I'll put it out there. Simple question. Post it. How many people think, do you think, yes, that's what I should say. Do you think, do you, and it's like, get the fucking question out there. Do you think, I take like a fucking retard, do you think that it will be a war if Donald gets arrested before the election? Do you think that it would be a war? I do what's the typo? Okay. Be a war if Donald gets arrested before the election. Let me put Trump. Let me put Trump first. I don't like Donald just sitting there. It looks kind of weird. I don't like that. So do you think that it would be a war if Donald Trump gets arrested before the election? That's a real question. Now, they ran up in the buildings for him. What would they do for him if he gets locked up? Do you think the people just gonna say, "Oh well, we're gonna go vote"? Who's the next person to vote for? Oh, I'm gonna vote for elders, whatever his name is. You think the people just gonna say, "Oh well, you know, damn Trump, who am I gonna vote for now?" I don't know. Like I said, this is a real life movie because once again, out of the last 10 presidents, did they give Bush a movie? You know what I'm saying? Did Jimmy Carter? They gave John F. Kennedy a movie. He got assassinated. Understand? Who will get a movie? Who do you guys see getting a movie? Ronald Reagan. Okay, yeah. I'm gonna give you who you think would be the next one to get the movie. Well, we already know, but let's just really. This is a good one though. Ronald Reagan. George Bush, he got his movie. I apologize. Bush did get George Bush Jr. got his movie. W. Yep, W got his movie. So W got his movie before Ronald Reagan. So who you think would be the next one to get the movie? Ronald Reagan, Obama, Bill Clinton, or Trump? Might as well type that one in there. So if you got all the way down to here and you able to see this, that's what's up. Who do you think will get the next movie? Bill, Ronald Reagan, Bill Clinton, Obama, Barack Obama, Obama, or Donald. Now that question might already be in process. I mean, is the Bombers getting a movie made for them anytime soon? Anybody know? I don't know. I don't watch TV. I don't be on. So is that happening anytime soon? Are they gonna give Ronald Reagan one? There was assassination too. I mean, did he get a movie? I don't know. Did Reagan get a movie? Did Bill Clinton get a movie? You know, he had the Monica Lewinsky thing. Did they get a movie? Can't remember. But there will be a Donald Trump movie. You best believe it. Okay. And we watching it live right now. Like, you know how you watching those penitentiary movies? Excuse me. And they be showing what's going on in the penitentiary, and they showing it online. It's live. They showing the fights and shit. Yo, we watching it as it's really developing right in our face, and yet still we cannot put it all together. We cannot connect these dots to see that there's something in this rabbit hole that one of these little foxes got up in there, and they know too much, and the information that they have that they had in their possession while they being indicted is more reason why they know too much. And just like Bill Clinton, he had something on for the government that made them say, "Yo, okay, we can't fuck with him." And so this is what he did. He covered his ass. Like Anthony Weiner, what was in his laptop, covered his ass. It was the same thing that made Trump say to Hillary, "Yo, I'm going to lock you up." But he fell back, and then they came back and said, "Yo, lock him up." That was some crazy shit. He said, "I'm going to lock you up when I become president." Then he said, "No, I'm not going to lock her up." Whatever made him change his mind. He built the wall. He started the wall. But whatever made him change his mind, he really fell back from her and all the others. But in return, what they do, they went after his ass, and they going after him hard because you know too much. This rabbit hole is deep. Cannot finish this. Cannot finish this whole interview.
Yeah, but you've already said an eye for an eye. I mean, he hit you, you're going to hit him back.
Well, I might.
But how could you hit him back?
We'll see. Hey, time will tell, I guess, right?
Are you looking for the opportunity?
No, I'm not looking. I'm just really so disappointed in him. I'm disappointed in other people, and I was disappointed. I was disappointed in this one man that didn't want to get off the board. Now, he got off.
Okay, but he got off. So I mean,
no, he got off. He got off after being hit over the head with a cannon. Okay.
What was the cannon?
Cannon was me, and he ended up.
What was the threat, though? I mean, did you blast him in the paper and that was enough, or did you say
the threat was just sort of just a strong threat? I mean, he would have gone through a lot of hell if he didn't get off. And then he gets off and he acts like he does me a favor. He gets off. Okay, he got off maybe out of fear.
You owe me, Donald, because I'm getting off the board.
Yeah, and you know, it was like one of the great jokes of the century. But it ended up that he got off and the deal went through. But that doesn't mean I have to love this particular guy. It doesn't mean I have to love him. I want somebody that's loyal from the beginning, not somebody that's loyal because they're afraid or because they're this or because of that. And I've had a lot of instances like that. But and I think, you know, and again, I think the new book, and I don't know why I'm promoting a book that's not going to come out for 3 or 4 months. I mean, I don't want to waste a lot of time, but I think that the most interesting aspect, that's right, we'll do it when you go national.
That's
okay,
right,
we'll do that for the national. Forget the local stuff. But
No, the local stuff's important. Without the local stuff, there's been no national
right,
stuff.
you don't do this area, the loyalty chapters. I think
Yeah,
it's
you measure loyalty in terms
Yeah.
of
And once again, he said the most interesting part of the book is the loyalty chapter. So, folks, so loyalty. So let me go back to the question I asked in the post. If Donald Trump gets locked the fuck up, his true loyal patrons, his true loyal patriots, his true loyal voters, do you think they're gonna, like I say, it's a war out there, yo. Do you think they're gonna be part of the casualty to spark this war? Because I don't see them being bad, to be honest. That's just me personally. If his true loyal people rise up, I don't see it as being bad because they rising up against a demon that I look at. A demon that's trying to take down one of the dragons that's actually going to bite them. So, do you think that his loyal people is just going to stand by and really allow everything just to go down like that? Because the same way you have those loyal people that be really truly loyal and dedicated to their cause, whether it's, you know, saving animals and fur and shit like that, all the way to people, you know, who do whatever they do. Like Ronald Reagan was stabbed in his heart. Do you think that his loyal people who really believe in their rights are being and believe that their rights are being totally snatched, especially after them locking them up? You think they really going to sit back and just allow it to be like many of us black folks would do? See, a lot of us black folks, I ain't talking about Trump, I'm talking about just allow things to be. Oh, they choke everything out in our face, allow it to be. Oh, they murdered Breonna, allow it to be. Oh, they murdered Trayvon, we allow it to be. We allow everything to be. We still waiting for some type of law. We waiting for some type of something. No, everybody's not like us. So don't think that everyone's like you and just allow everything to be. We have a date called 9/11, and now we have a date called January 6th. And you ask a little kid who has a little bit of information, but do you know what's special about January 6th? And they can tell you something, or they will actually know. Oh yeah. That's when such and such happened. So those are days that's in history. This war is coming around the corner, folks. Let's see how this is going to turn out. The loyalty chapters is your measure. Is you? It said the loyalty chapter is you measure loyalty in terms of
your own relationship with Roy Cohn. You feel like that Roy, you stuck by Roy Cohn, and you showed your stripes by doing it.
Well, I don't think I showed my stripes. I think, you see, I'm so loyal to people, and maybe I'm loyal to a fault, but I'm so loyal to people that when somebody's slightly disloyal to me, I look upon it as a great act of horror.
Who are you going to support for mayor?
Well, I think David Dinkins.
This is the See, I wanted to get to the end because it was some very straight important shit right now. Okay. Okay, let's go back to race. So he asked a question. After whatever, who you going to support for mayor? Okay.
I have to tell you, has done a real good comeback. You know, you talk about comebacks. David Dinkins has done one hell of a comeback in the last 6 months, and you saw what happened in Los Angeles, and you saw what happened. People really like the man. I mean, I've been with him and I've watched him, and he has really become a very popular guy, and I think he's going to be very hard to beat in a lot of ways. Now, I have to tell you that a year and a half ago, nobody wanted to run against George Bush. It took a man from Arkansas who was the only one, you know, virtually one of the few people that wanted to run, because George Bush was unbeatable. There was no way you could beat this guy, and he turned out to, you know, he just ran out of gas.
It looked like David Dinkins can possibly win re-election a year ago, and then you had a lot of other things, and now he's in a much better position.
Well, he really is. He's done a great comeback.
You support him over Giuliani?
Well, I'm not announcing who I'm.
So that's why I wanted to, go. So he gave Dinkins praise. So I mean, sitting there, listening as with some racist ears, like, oh, let me listen with my racist ears. He gave this black man praise and say, yo, he's coming. He did the comeback. And, he's actually right, because at the beginning with David Dinkins, they was all his first 2 years were kind of rough, but he came to my hood. David Dinkins was in Southside Jamaica, Queens. He was up. He came to the basketball court and redid the basketball court. He was there himself. I got my picture with him. I shook his hand, you know what I'm saying? Okay. So when he said he's doing the comeback, and he said he was there, David Dinkins was in. He hit the hood hard. He was hitting the hoods hard. He was hitting the streets. He was stumping. I mean, really in the streets. So what he's saying, he was not lying, but like he asked him, so you choosing Dinkins over Giuliani?
I'm supporting, and I don't think it's even relevant. I just think that Dinkins has really done a great job in terms of. He's done a great. You could beat this guy, and he turned out to, he just ran out of gas.
It looked like David Dinkins can possibly win re-election a year ago, and then you had a lot of other things, and now he's in a much better position.
Well, he's done a great comeback.
You support him over Giuliani?
Well, I'm not announcing who I'm supporting, and I don't think it's even relevant. I just think that Dinkins has really done a great job in terms of coming back. I also think he's a great human being. I think he's a very.
Did he help you on the planning commission?
He helped me, but he was tough. He was strong. He was very community oriented. He was very much for the people in that sense. But when he gave me his word that he would now support the job, he really lived up to that word.
There was also a guy on the political scene this year named Ross Perot, a billionaire. Were you once a billionaire?
I don't know. I was projected as being.
Yeah, I know you were, but you never can tell about those numbers. You mean you were worth a couple? Because I saw that at least 900 million. But no, did you actually have a net worth
had me up to the highest of 2?
What did you have yourself up to?
I don't know. I had myself up to maybe what I have right now. I don't know. Nobody knows what I'm worth. What's the Taj Mahal worth? What's the West Side? I have no idea.
What was it you used to say about the plaza? You said this is a trophy. Therefore, it's a different place if it's a trophy. If it's the best and unique, then people pay a premium for the best and unique.
But people don't buy trophies so much anymore.
Yeah, that's true.
1988 trophies were great. 1990, huge profit a year after. And brilliantly, I just saw Sean was working out fantastically. I think it's going. In golf, it's like in sports. Everybody, it's a question of how many bad shots do you hit. Not so many good shots, but how many bad shots.
In other words, minimize your bad shots.
You really have to, it's not a question of getting, because everybody's going to get in trouble. It's a question of how do you get out of trouble.
Yeah,
I think the Plaza Hotel is going to turn out to be a great deal for me. I mean, it's already turning out to be a great deal for me.
But golf, it's going to be great. That sporting metaphor may be correct, because in golf, if you were playing and you got to go over the water to reach the green, sometimes you don't make it over the water.
Well, sometimes you don't.
And then go over.
Actually, really good.
In other words, minimize your bad shots.
You really have to. Truthfully, I'm very happy with my purchase of the Plaza Hotel. I think it's working out fantastically. I think it's going to work out. You know, adversity is a very funny thing. When you have adversity, it's like in golf. It's like in sports. Everybody, it's a question of how many bad shots do you hit. Not so many good shots, but how many bad shots.
In other words, minimize your bad shots.
You really have to, it's not a question of getting, because everybody's going to get in trouble. It's a question of how do you get out of trouble.
Yeah,
I think the Plaza Hotel is going to turn out to be a great deal.
That's to reach the green. Bogey land.
Sure, but hey, that's not where I am. Although I could have.
You're not in bogey land now? Well, but are you back to par? You're not even back to par, though. You're at least a bogey.
I think.
You see how he's like all throughout the interview, it's like constantly the same thing of what they were doing during the election with Hillary. Like, what how much money you worth? Y'all not hearing this? Like, how much money you worth? How much money you worth? What you worth? Are you a billionaire? Are you a billionaire? What's your tax? What's your tax? That's what it is now. Like they really, it's like they. You're not hearing the how the way they attack them. It's right here, and this has been their blueprint from day one of how it's like what's that movie? What's that movie? Untouchables, and how they brought what's the name down? Capone. This is like the blueprint they're going by. They trying to go by that same blueprint.
Think again, I tell you this, and I make this prediction. I think in 6 months I'll be stronger than I was 3 or 4 years ago, whatever my.
That's a birdie.
I believe what I did is I restructured things in the early 90s in the bad times, and now it's turning out to be very good. I believe that I'll be stronger than I was 2 years ago, but who knows? I mean, let's see what happens. Let's see what happens with the economy. Let's see what happens with the
Ross Perot had a $3 billion, who's willing to spend it and got something, I haven't seen the last tally, maybe 17, 18% of the vote, 19% of the vote. There was a time in which you wanted to tease America that you might even want to run for
Well,
president.
people said that. I never did, but people said that.
You didn't go to New Hampshire to test the water.
You know
didn't,
what?
under
I
the
went to
influence of Roger Stone, say, this is an interesting idea. Let's go up and see what we can do.
I really went to New Hampshire because they wanted me to go to New Hampshire, and they wanted
But
me
you
to make
knew
a
that your
speech.
appearance there would
Well,
generate the
I
talk.
certainly did generate talk, and
But
I
you
didn't
knew
do
that
it.
your appearance would
No,
generate
I
talk.
didn't do
and
it for
you
that
didn't.
reason, Charlie. I didn't do it for that reason, and I had no idea how much talk it would generate, and I had no intention of running for president, and I wouldn't have an intention of running for president. I will say this: Ross Perot. He made some monumental mistakes. Had he not dropped out of the election, had he not made the gaffes about the watchdogs and the guard dogs and
Yeah, all
everybody
that
coming
stuff,
at the
yeah.
house,
He
and
looked a little
3 or
thick.
4, if he didn't have 3 or 4 bad days, and they were real bad days, he could have conceivably won this crazy election.
You'll get some political people who are smarter than you and I both about politics who will say the same thing.
Oh, I believe
That
it.
he could have made it a very competitive race
He
and
was up to
possibly
42
won.
points at one
But at the
point.
same time, whatever it is that made him generate $2 billion, which enabled him to do as well as he did in part, he was very effective in the debates, and that had nothing to do with how much money he had.
Right.
At the same time, maybe you have to take the good with the bad, and part of the personality makeup that happened to make him $2 billion also made him the way he is about sort of the paranoia about
Well, the paranoia
others.
maybe created some of the money, but it's not necessarily good.
Or the drive that creates both.
See, one of the problems with politics and politicians is that you really can't have done very much wrong, and that means you can't have done very much. Because if you're doing a lot, hey, I do a lot of things, and most of them turn out good, but some of them have to turn out bad. And it's they'll hit you with a little bad, and it makes it a little bit more difficult.
Franklin Roosevelt, I think, once said, Arthur Schlesinger was here the other night, and I'm not sure he said this, but I think that FDR once said, I'm proud of all my enemies. I've earned them. What enemies are you proud of?
Well, I'm proud of having a guy like Ed Koch as an enemy because I think he's a major loser. He did a lousy job as mayor. He's a promoter. He's very much of a promoter. He did not do a good job as a mayor. He got very upset because after 8 years of trying to build the Woolman skating rink, I was able to do it in 4 months for about 1/10 the money that they spent. And instead of thanking me, he took great umbrage to the fact that I was able to do this. And I just wanted to have my kids go ice skating in Central Park. I got tired of watching these people sitting on their, I'm not allowed to say asses in these programs, so of course I won't say it. But I got tired of watching these people just sitting down and not working and not doing it right and having no planning and no leadership. So instead of thanking me and saying, Donald, that was a great job, he went around saying, well, I think we could have done it if we this, if we that. He was not.
So Ed Koch, who else?
I think he was just
what
an
other
underrated
enemy
guy.
are you
Ed Koch was a Democrat as well.
proud of?
I'm not proud of enemies. I'd like to have, I'm the kind of guy that has
do
great
something,
friends and great enemies, and somehow, but I'm not proud of.
Is your father still the seminal influence in your life?
Well, I have a great father. I have a wonderful father. He's somebody I love very much. I wouldn't say he is. I'd say my mother and father maybe is a
Together, or
combination. Yeah, together, because I have just.
in what
truly
way
great
did they
leaders.
influence you differently?
Well, they're very different people. My father's a very business-oriented guy, but a very good man. I mean, if somebody came up to my father on the street and said, I need $100, I need $200, and my father is the softest touch when it comes to people that really are in trouble. He's really a very great humanitarian in that sense. But he's a strong man. People would think of him as being cold, but he's not cold at all. My mother is openly warm. I mean, she's just a wonderful
Except when
woman.
it comes to Mike Tyson.
Except when it came to Mike Tyson. It took 40 years, and finally she came out and she said something. But she's a fabulous.
She made you
woman.
like yourself when you were growing up. I
She
mean,
really
by her
did.
love reinforced your sense of self.
She really did. I mean, she's
Yeah.
some woman.
Greenberg again in this New York Magazine article said,
Real quick breakdown again. So when he speaks on he's building everything on family, so as he started as he end with family, any man that can big up and praise his father as well as he does his mother, but can really praise his father, will be blessed. Okay? Always remember that, folks. Honor thy father and thy mother. It don't say honor thy mother and thy father. So any person who can honor their father as they honor their mother, but who can honor their father will be blessed. That's the key to life, yo.
about you. He said, if Donald gives you his word, it's good as gold. However, he said,
that sometimes I have a bad memory.
that leaves you wide open
No,
to
it's-
it leaves you wide open to the fact that
and I have a photographic memory.
well,
That's the problem.
exactly. I mean, it raises this question: can you trust what Donald really says? Because his memory may be short.
Yeah. Now, I think he meant that jokingly. He's a great friend and he's a great gentleman, and I think he meant that joke. I think, but perhaps he's had some bad experiences. I really don't know.
What brings you the greatest satisfaction now? Is it conquering adversity or is it something else?
Well, I used to think just continued success, but I got bored by it.
Yeah, enough and enough is not
enough. And then I really think that right now I'm just really proud with the way I've handled things. I really think that I've handled things well from a business standpoint.
And somebody who steps forward and says, this is...
Yo, this question right here is a good question. Because I asked the same question. I said, I wanted to take him out the picture. Because, I already know I ain't voting, so don't mind me. I'm not voting. But if there even be election. But I don't want y'all to vote Democrat. I really don't. Vote independent, vote Green Party, vote Republican, but do not vote Democrat. But he says, what brings you satisfaction? And he said, pretty much, it's not even about the economic gains, even though I would talk about it because, that's what it is. But it's more so knowing what I accomplished through the adversities, throughout the trials and tribulations, how I made myself great again. So he's actually at the age of 80 something, after all this shit that y'all hearing right now, all his trials and tribulations, and to be able to slap everyone in the face, he truly wants to do better for this country. And I mean that with my heart. There's a lot of candidates that really want to do good for the country. But it's not that Democrat cat. It's never in my life I see eggs at the price of $8. So that shit was astronomical. I want y'all to wake up. A person who's motivated and getting up early in the morning and sleeping late at night offers the satisfaction of being successful at what they want to do is very key right now. To me, it's not about no economic gains. It's not about if he can make another $10 billion. Nah, I don't think it is, folks. He's 84, 82, 83, 81. I don't think he's really stressing, I got to make another 20 billion before I die. But what I do believe is that, There's some cats that really want to stop this monster that's out there because this monster is way bigger than it's supposed to be.
And I really think that right now I'm just really proud with the way I've handled things. I really think that I've handled things well from a business standpoint.
And somebody who steps forward and says, you know, this is just Donald's hype. He's a giant promoter. He hasn't come back. I mean, times have turned a little bit around. You know, he sold off some assets, but it's not the great comeback that he believes it is.
Well,
You
all they have to
say,
do, I mean, all they have to do is look at the numbers. I mean, you look at the numbers in the casino journals
Right.
and you look at the numbers, and you know, it's been a tremendous comeback. And I'm not saying I'm as far back as I will be in 6 months. I mean, I'm back, and I'm not in any trouble, and I'm doing well, and I'm making money.
what do you think?
Money is a scorecard for me. You know, money is not as important as people would think it would be to a guy like me, but it is a scorecard. And you know, I've really
So
done
what
well.
is the most important thing to a guy like you?
I think the way I've survived, the quality in which I've lived under the survival mode, the image I've portrayed during the survival period. I mean, people haven't seen me go into a corner and put my thumb in my mouth and say, I give up, I give up. I mean, this kid doesn't give up. And some people did give up, I have to tell you, Charlie. And you know, you're not going to be doing interviews with them. But some people did give up. Many people gave up, and many tough, smart killers gave up. They just gave up. They said, I can't do it anymore. So I think the way in which I survived was very important to me.
Art of the Comeback, soon to be out. What, you're going to be out next beginning of
3 or 4
19,
months,
3 or 4
probably,
months?
yeah.
You're writing this alone?
I'm doing this one alone because I really want to get my flavor. I've had 2 wonderful writers. My other books were both #1 bestsellers. I'm doing this alone. I want to get my own flavor. It's really become somewhat of a passion because I think people are going to learn a lot from it.
Good to have you.
Have a good time.
Thanks
Thank
very
you.
much.
Thank you.
Donald Trump is back. Thank you for joining us tonight. Monday, we'll talk with World Series hero Dave Winfield. Trump would like to hear that. Also, a lot of other people will be here. We're taping next week an hour.
Now, remember I said about the race? I said Mike Tyson. I said Lennox Lewis. I said Holyfield. And then he said, yo, what's your fascination with that? He said, like, he went to sports. And then what he say? I'm going to have Dave Winfield, the World Series hero. And you're going to like that. Why? Dave Winfield from New York. He's from New York. You understand what I'm saying? Dave is probably his man. So you get off that race shit, folks. You go out there and vote. Don't vote family, folks. I really mean that. Vote real life. Fuck all that fake shit. Those people who's really, you know, who standing strong against this demonic force is forcing itself on you. Don't give them resistance. Give them stability. Help them out, folks. I don't care who it is. Whoever's speaking the strongest and mean it the hardest. Save us. Save your boys. Save your girls. I don't give a fuck who's mad at me. I'll probably never see you in my life, and I can care less. I speak the truth. And the truth is, you need to get that demon mentality out of you. Because you ain't going to cast it on us and force us to be on that shit. It's a real war out there, folks. Thank you for your listening ear, your support. I got to get up early. I got to make some moves. You know what I'm saying? All prayers up for everybody. Like I say, there's a war coming on. And if you ain't got your mind right and your mind not tuned in right, and if you just getting caught up with the hype, you already lost. And you're already a dead person walking. But if you're a person who's really, really, really got their eyes open, their ears tuned in, and can see with their ears, and can hear with their eyes, you're going to survive. Thank y'all for your listening, your support. Peace.